I can't hear. Do you hear me? It's not, we have to. Yeah. We have to.
Right, which I love. I mean, that's the thing that's so amazing about you is you are so your heart. I mean, comes across. I mean,
Thank
so
you.
much, but also just your well-roundedness. Like this is what you. I mean, we all as parents. I'm a mother as well. I have my values, and so I want my kids to also know about those values, which is really
Absolutely.
important. Hey guys, okay, this is not okay ever,
That's right.
and sometimes this is okay, sometimes, and then this is definitely okay. So I love that. Well, I'm going to let you go and mingle.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you to Rachel Mckenzie, off the field president now.
Thank
and
you.
I will see you tomorrow on the red carpet.
Absolutely. And thank you as well, Juliet. It has truly been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
And I love that we got to meet in person.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
All right. So wait.
Yes, I saw that in the write up. I was like, oh my goodness. Since last week, I've been telling Cynthia, I'm so excited and I
Yeah.
can't wait to come and meet Zoe and that she traveled all the way. Like, yeah.
It's incredible.
It is.
And all of her jewelry has a little bit of. So I have Isaiah in here about no fear. That was the
Yes.
most Googled Bible verse during COVID.
Wow.
Which is
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that just gave me chills, literally.
Right?
Yes,
So
that is
I did a little
amazing.
research in the area. So yes, please go and
Yes.
shop and get some good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate it. Welcome back to YNS Live with NFL Thread. This is the podcast at the Super Bowl, and I have an awesome, I cannot wait because she has been in the fireside rooms every time we have someone. This is Tammy. How are you, Tammy?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, I think you might need to just pull. Yep.
There we go.
Is that better?
There. How's that?
Is that okay? So Tammy is doing, we just sat down for like a couple minutes as we were getting back, and all of the stuff that Tammy does and is one of the board members for Off the Field. So I would first love to hear a little bit about the fashion show that's happening tomorrow and all the work that goes into that, because no one knows about the work that you ladies do.
Yes. So the fashion show is our 21st fashion show, 21st year for Off the Field NFL Players' Wives Association. And we're very excited. It's something that happens annually the Friday before Super Bowl. And it's an amazing event. But you're right, a lot of work goes into it. It always comes off flawlessly, but there's so much from seating to taking care of the sponsors and the VIPs to the gift bags, and it's a lot. Models, getting them organized. It's fun, but it's hectic.
It's hectic. But the thing is, so you guys, what I love about this, and this is one of the reasons why when I started this podcast and Cynthia Zordich was my guest, which was really, really fun, as Cynthia was telling me, all of a sudden my brain started going and thinking about what you guys do behind the scenes and that the average person does not know.
Yeah.
So this is, as Tammy said, this is the 21st year, and every Super Bowl, you guys pick a local charity. Am I correct?
Yes.
And then the proceeds go to that. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we pick a local charity. Our focus is on families and women. And so we like to pick a charity that coincides with what our focus is. So this year it's Holly Robinson Pete's charity, which does both family and it's Holly. So it's a woman. She's one of our sisters. She's one of our Off the Field Players' Wives members.
Yes.
And so that's really cool to be able to, celebrate one of our own. But every year we look at organizations that we feel are doing something that aligns with our vision for what we want to be.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so now, Tammy, I would love for you to dive in. And what else do you do other than Off the Field? Who are you?
So I wear a lot of different hats. I'm actually an ordained minister. I have my doctorate in ministry, and I work with a church in Houston, but I'm also the founder of an infertility ministry called the Waiting Room Infertility Ministry. I'm also the founder of a women's group, Capes Off, that focuses on supporting Black women in ministry because we're not always supported. It's kind of like corporate America. There's the glass ceiling, we call it.
Right.
There's a different type of glass ceiling, basically. So anyway, I do those things, but I also work in the financial industry. I work for a firm called Bridgeway Capital Management. I'm a director of institutional relations. And Bridgeway is unique in that we are an investment management firm for profit, but we give 50% of our earnings to charity.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah.
So you guys you can feel your heart. Tammy, you have an amazing heart. And the fact that you guys, twice a year, because you're also at the draft. You usually go to the draft too.
I don't go to the draft as much, but a lot of my sisters do.
You do, right.
Yeah.
But the fact, once a year, you guys know that you're coming together.
Yes.
I know all the work that you guys put into the fashion show, but also, as you said, you're juggling all these different hats. You have families, you're helping families,
Yes.
you're, out there making a difference in the community. And that's one of the things why when we started, this podcast, YNS Live with NFL Thread, because Thread is all about the connection, right?
Yes.
When Cynthia started Thread, it's all about the connection. And then the playbook is about telling the stories.
Yes.
And now that we have the podcast, it's about giving a voice to those stories because everyone has a story and we all can listen and we can all learn from each other. It doesn't matter if you're the president to a bartender. It doesn't matter. Everyone has a story and we all
Absolutely.
really can learn from each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the things that kind of is right now missing in the world. We're not, and not everyone knows how to tell their story, right?
Well, I'll tell you how I really got fully connected with Off the Field was at a conference. We do those typically every 2 years. And that's where Cindy and I really got to know each other. She was just reminding me today. And so it was a chance for all these women that have this shared experience of, having been married to a professional football player, that it's a unique experience. And we all have a lot of similar stories, but you're right, everybody has a different story. But it was a common connection that we all
Right.
had that we built on, and I think that's what keeps us all connected because we understand. From the outside looking in, people think your life glamorous and you've got but it's so much more than that. There's a lot more that goes into being the spouse of a football player, but there's also a lot more that goes into being who we are. We're much more than that, all of us. So
Yes, and I love that you just touched on that because that is the one thing why I wanted to start this, because everyone has their preconceived, what mentality of what it is.
Right.
And as a mom and as a woman, when I was talking to Cynthia and all of a sudden she was saying all the different teams Michael was in, and I said, we had just moved, and I said, oh my gosh, you had to pick up every time.
Right.
And then my brain went, you have to find the dentist, you have to, say bye to friends, you have to find, you have to find the doctors, you got to make sure if they're into sports that they have the teams there. There's so much. And so you are women just like we are, your mothers just like we are. And just because your husbands have this status doesn't make you any different. It makes you the same because we all wake up and put our pants on the same way.
right. And then there's the adjustment to once their careers are over.
Right.
That's very different than most people when their spouse retires from their job. It's a very different experience. So there's a lot. But yeah, at the end of the day, you're still supporting someone through a transition, which is common to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about. Like, the player could have been playing flag football when they were 5 years old, and then all of a sudden they get injured, or they, their time is up, and it doesn't matter how stable or how, that does something to you. And then as the spouse, you're there picking them up. And I really, it made like my stomach drop when I was thinking about it. Cause you're wearing multiple hats.
A good way I heard it explained was, imagine if there was something you did your whole life, and one day you woke up and somebody said, that thing you love to do, you can't do that anymore. And so I'm a book nerd, so I was like, what if somebody told me I could never read a book?
Right.
Like, what? And I mean, it's different, but it's still the same kind of thought that there's something that you love to do and then you don't have control over being able to do it anymore.
Right, and that's crazy. So I think the fact. Oh, okay. So we're gonna cut down, but please come back because we are actually gonna take a break right now. We're gonna do introductions.
Sure.
And we're gonna have people are gonna be shopping a little bit, but you guys come back in about 20 minutes and we'll be back live.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, guys. We are back with YNS Live and NFL Thread. So I am honored to have Mary Davis here. I cannot wait to learn a little bit about, because as you guys know, I'm just meeting these women. I'm meeting the women here, and I want you guys to know why they're here. It's not just for the Super Bowl, for other things. So welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread, Mary.
Thank you. I'm loving being here. I usually attend every year for the fashion shows, but this year was a little hard. My husband passed away 6 months ago, and he was vice president of the Players Union at one time, but such a strong person getting involved with the community, and I kind of just picked up where he left off being involved. And right now, we've opened 7 restaurants in the Phoenix area, and 3 days after he passed, we opened our 8th. So it's called the Angry Crab, and we're in Las Vegas. And I've used to work in PR for a long time, so I've been doing a lot of PR with the business. Right. I was a PR director with Skechers, LA Gear.
So you have
Carl,
you know how that whole world works.
Yeah.
So how is that? And I'm sorry about your husband.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very sorry. How does that, your PR background, kind of relate to what you're doing with the restaurants?
With what?
How you're doing with the restaurants?
Oh,
like how does that, like what?
Well,
I'm sure you got like a little step
you have
like
to
that.
stay out and get involved. You have to be on your Facebook or your Instagrams, and
right.
and my sons help me too. I have a son that went to Tampa Bay, then the Raiders, then he played 3 years in Arena, and now he's Secret Service for the president.
Okay.
So he kind of knows and he's here now covering the game.
Oh, he is? Oh,
yeah.
Really? I mean, he really had a career himself, right?
He did. He really did.
One of the things about my podcast, and that I talk about all the time, is that I really truly believe we all have a path, whether you believe in God or whether you believe, in the universe. And we all don't find it all at the same time. Right. But when you feel that feeling of like, I want to try something new, a lot of times, and I find with women more, we hold ourselves back. We don't go and take that leap of faith. And so I love that your son did that. He had all these different things, and it was like, I'm following something that God really probably meant for him to be doing.
Right. He is. And the same with me, because in the era that I grew up, our parents stayed in a job all their lives and retired. I started off as a grooming consultant for TWA. Wow, then I went into PR work. Then I ran an art gallery in Scottsdale for a while. I just stayed involved, and you get those contacts, and one contact leads to another, and it helped me as far as with our restaurants, everything.
Right. Well, because it's all about networking. So that's, one of the things I love that you decided I want to come here and talk about. Right. What you're doing, because in the restaurant business, that's hard business. You're really working hard.
Oh, yeah. We had to shut down for a little while, maybe for like 3 weeks, to regroup, because it's so hard getting wait staffs now.
Oh, I know.
People can stay home and work on the internet. Why would they buy gas and, drive out? But you learn what you have to do. You have to increase the salaries. You have to do things like that to get them in there, and that's what I've been doing.
So tell us again where all the restaurants are names, and where are they?
They're called the Angry Crab, and they're in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, Mesa, Gilbert, Chicago, and we have one in Las Vegas now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what, out of all the...
and my husband brought in, when they opened the one in Vegas, before he passed, he opened it with 2 fellow NFL players, Mark May and Lincoln Kennedy.
Okay, so it stayed in the family.
So they're there, yeah.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. So all the stuff that you have done with, all the walks of life that you've had, is there one that stands out that you are like, that was my favorite? Or does it all, at the time, it was really...
Well, you know what? And I had a passion for all of them, so I really enjoyed it. Another thing, when my husband played, like I said, he was involved with the union, the NFLPA.
Right.
And you'll probably talk to Regina Martin and Beverly Lofton, but we started really the first wives group with the NFLPA, where we did things like go to with the St. Jude Hospital. We would donate our time and doing fashion shows in the Bay Area and stuff like this.
Right.
It wasn't national.
Right.
It was just with the wives whose husbands were part of the NFLPA. So when I came to Arizona, the way I met Erica was I was doing a fashion show for Tory Burch, and I invited her.
Oh my gosh,
and
I
then
love that.
I got connected with her, and since my husband, before he passed, he always helped Erica in her foundation, so we just became closer and closer, and both of us lost our husbands.
Right.
So and that's
fun.
another thing that kind of, here it kind of connects you, because you have Erica started a widows group, so you really have that network, and it's really a good support.
Right. Oh, I love that. Well, Mary, thank you so much.
Okay.
You guys are on Instagram, right? They can find you on any of the social media.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout that out so they can.
Yes, marydavis.com, and I'm also on MLD 36.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
thank
Mary.
you.
Thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. Guys, YNS Live with NFL Thread, experiencing the Super Bowl right now. It is brought to you by Shutterstock Editorial. Wherever you go, Shutterstock will capture it. So we are going to wait for our next guest. We'll see. I see some ladies that are standing and ready to join. So here we go. Here's our next guest. Oh, I think we. I don't want anyone but. Please. Oh, I love your necklace. So you're gonna make sure the mic is close to your mouth.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Yeah. Oh, you're gorgeous. Okay, so again, guys, welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread. I'm going to have you introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Tamara Mcdonald, known as the Game Changer. I am a board member of Off the Field Players Wives Association, and I've sat on the board of directors for about 10 years now, and I've been a member about 20 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to hear a little bit about your story. This is YNS Live with NFL Thread, and my podcast, Your Next Stop, is all about stories.
Okay.
So tell me how you got involved. Obviously what brings you here is because you're off the field.
Yes.
But just a little bit about your background.
A little bit about my background is my former husband played for Cincinnati, Chicago, and Denver.
Okay.
And that's how I initially got involved with Off the Field as a member. I was actively involved in the communities that we played in, and then when Off the Field came around and was formed, it was the perfect organization for wives. I also have a foundation myself called Game Changers, and it's doing work in the communities, teaching inner city youth and women how to change the game.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell them where they can find you, and give me a little bit.
They can find me on Instagram under Game Changer Pro, Facebook Tamara Mcdonald, Tammara Mcdonald, McDonald. And this is wonderful what you guys have started. I'm so excited about this. I know Cynthia is really excited about this, and I serve on the board with her, so I'm so proud of you guys for
Thank you.
this podcast.
When I first interviewed Cynthia, back when you were next up, before I had the live shows, when she was talking, and I was talking to some of the other women that have sat down here, when she started talking about all the times that Michael got traded, and all the cities, and then I was thinking, okay, I have 3 kids. I'm a woman.
Yes.
That's a lot. I've moved, but I've moved, for my own choice.
Exactly.
And so I was like, I need to put this out there. Like, you guys are so, people put NFL spouses and NFL players, and really sports players, actors, and all that on a different level.
Right.
And really, when you come down to it, we all
on the same.
We're the same.
Yes, and in that world, when they have to move or they're free agents and whatnot, we had 3 kids. We have 3 kids, and it's like you have to uproot everything and start all over in a new city and get to know new people and doctors and schools, and it's people don't realize that side of it, and it's not always by choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not always by the cities you actually may want to even live in or have family in, to help you. So
right. That's really hard. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. But please shout out where people can find you again.
Again, you can find me on Instagram at Game Changer Pro, Twitter, Tam Love Me, and on Facebook, I'm under Tamara Mcdonald.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, Tamara, so much. And thank you for doing what you're doing. Really. I mean, changing, the game, that's amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So YNS Live with NFL Thread, again, is brought to you by Shutterstock Editorial. Wherever we are, they will capture it. Waiting for our next guest. and we will learn a little bit more about what these guys are doing here. This is so amazing. You should feel the community. If you can kind of feel what's going on, the energy, the people that are here. It's really such an amazing networking event. No, come on in. Yeah, come on in. Join. And I love the purple. Such a good color. Yes. Okay. Okay, so are we in this? We're just making sure we're in the shot? Okay, perfect. And let's get that a little closer to you. Okay, so I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
I'm Jaquita Clayton.
So nice to meet you. And I want to know, as I was just talking to a lot of the women, I am very curious about storytelling. So I want to know, what's your story? Why are you here supporting, and what do you do?
Okay, I'm here supporting because Sharice Brown is my friend. And I'm connected to the NFL by way of my son, Mark Clayton, who retired with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, that's amazing. And so you come because this is, as every year, it's a networking event, right? You get to see your sisters, you get to see the wives, you get to see other parents. What, as a mother of a former player, what was that like?
That was interesting. It had its good and its bad.
Right, well, give us a little bit. I want a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, so the good was great. I was able to travel and go to the games and, actually be in the stadium to see him play. I didn't like sitting in the guest suites because everybody's talking, you can't see the game, and I'm a football mom.
Right.
I'm like, be quiet.
Right. Oh my gosh, right.
Yeah, and so I was able to travel, and also there was a platform for me to start an organization which was called the Mom Squad. We were the National Mom Squad, and we benefited across the U.S., the various states, and
Tell us
did
more
some
about
good
that.
things. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Please.
So that organization, the National Mom Squad, is comprised of professional athletes, film and music industry entertainers. Matter of fact, Sharon Smith, Most Deaf Mom, was my vice president.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we would just go out and give back. We all had the same heart of giving.
Right.
And we'd go out and give back. Every Super Bowl, we would benefit the youth athletic leagues, whether it be a recreation center or academy or what have you. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, so that's one of the things. And every, person that has come on the podcast, it is so apparent the hearts that you guys have.
Yes.
I mean, really, every single one of you guys give back in a different way. And it's such a beautiful thing. So tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, well, they can find me.
Yes.
I've been down and I'm coming back. So there'll be some interesting things coming about.
Okay, great.
Another group, another nonprofit organization.
Okay.
I don't know. They can find me through my email right now.
Okay, so give us, if people want to, if they want to learn more about you. Yeah.
Sure, yes, please. Contact me at jqrnss@gmail.com.
Perfect. You guys, thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome.
I so appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
And I love your color.
Thank
Purple
you.
is good. That's a good
thank
color
you.
for you.
Thank you. And I wanted to talk about my son's business a little.
Yes, please talk about your son's business.
Okay, so he's done a couple of things. He's created some headphones, LIVV headphones.
Okay.
He's designed them and created them himself. Went to
I love
NASA
that.
and had the guy to help him. Yeah. So
oh
he
my
created some headphones. In addition to that, he has a Live Green company that he's distributor for filters that clean up all the microbial bacteria that float in the air to help get rid of COVID and other different diseases like that. So.
And you were telling me that it's now going to be put in schools.
So we're a member of TIPS as well.
Right.
And with that contract, we've been able to reach out and pitch the various independent school districts, and we're looking to get those filters into the school districts to help.
So important. I mean, I
so
have kids
important.
in my,
so important.
And especially nowadays, I mean.
Yeah. With
air,
so many children getting COVID at school and whatnot. It's not the number one killer, but it is a solution to help get rid of some of that bacteria.
The air quality in schools.
That's right.
It just helps the air quality.
That's right.
Which, everyone really deserves that. So tell them where they can find your son, like if they want to learn more about what you're doing there. You
can find him at Mark at Live Green, LIVVGREEN.com.
Perfect.
Mark at livegreen.com.
Yeah, so if you guys want to learn more about that, or if you have any connections into school districts or in other places that might need these filters, you know where to find it. So shout it out again. Where?
Jaquita Clayton jclayton@livegreen.com, because mom is in the background. She's
Yes.
doing the work.
Yes, look at you better tell him he was on
Yes.
the podcast, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for
All
joining
right.
us.
You're
Oh
welcome.
my gosh,
Thank
it was
you,
a
Julie.
pleasure. It was a
You as
pleasure.
well.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Okay, so as we're waiting for more guests to come up, you guys are here with YNS Live NFL Thread. This is brought to you by Shutterstock, and we have so many great gifts that have been put into the swag bags. I know Chuckle Cards is one of them. Living Libations. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Have a seat.
This is who I am.
Oh my goodness.
But
Okay,
I brought
Regina Martin.
But I brought along a couple of other things to show off.
Yes,
too.
please, please, please.
Family items.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're in the shot. And you want to, yep.
For some reason, I thought
Yep.
we were radio.
You know, if we have a video portion too, but the Wi-Fi, because
Uh-huh.
of Santa Monica, the Wi-Fi is a little weird, but
Gotcha.
it is video and
Okay,
audio.
cool. Okay.
So, Regina Martin.
I'm Regina Martin.
Yes, please tell. Welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread.
Thank you.
Please tell us
Thank
a little
you.
bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, let's see. Where do I start? Well, I'm a part of the Off the Field,
Yes.
for one. Have been, I guess I was considered a charter member, but my time with the NFL goes way back to, the 80s. And my former husband played for the LA Raiders. Oh, sorry, Oakland LA Raiders.
Okay, right.
6 years each. And we were in 2 Super Bowls. But and then even before that, and I was telling a young lady over there about how we went through 2 strikes and to fight for where these young ladies and men are today.
Right.
And it was a big sacrifice for us, but we made it. And I look at the young people now and I think, they're doing big things and I love it.
Right. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then the NFLPA Wives Association. I think you spoke with Mary Davis earlier.
Yes, we did.
And so she and I, we did a lot of different things. In Oakland, we had a little fashion show, and then we came to Los Angeles, so we did 2 for the March of Dimes. We supported St. Jude's and, went to Memphis and took, money and, the whole thing. So always, active and love to see when the young women are doing the same thing. And
so I know that was before Off the Field started having the fashion show, right?
Way
so this
before.
is way before.
Oh, way before.
And
I'm talking about 1980. Oh goodness, probably 84, 85, 86, 87.
Right.
Yeah,
And but I love that you guys did that, and then it kind of just followed.
Morphed.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, it morphed.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So I know you said that you brought some stuff.
Okay. Well,
Please.
first of all, I want to plug my day job.
Yes,
which is-
please.
It's a nonprofit, Koinonia Family Services. IG would be at Koinonia_family_services.
Why don't you spell that?
KOINONIA services.
Perfect.
And but then I also we do foster to adoption. So that's
That's amazing.
That's what I do. That's the thing that I do and love. I've been doing it for 26 years, and that wasn't my first rodeo, so I must love it. And just getting families, finding families for children.
Right.
That's what I do. We are all throughout California and some parts of Nevada.
That's unbelievable. And what got you into that?
It's so funny because my former husband actually met the founder of the agency at a golf tournament raising funds, and he told the founder, he said, I think you'd love my wife. And so he came home and he's telling me about this lady, and I'm like, I had issues I was dealing with a younger child, and I was like, I don't have time. I don't think I got enough friends. And so he said, just meet her for 15 minutes. And it was just something that connected. And because I was a sociology major in college, it was like coming home for me.
Right.
And I had done all kinds of other things. I had a maternity store, and I had, just done all kinds of things. But it was something about this that just, it connected.
It connected.
So I've been there for 26 years. But,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and this is one of the things that I talk about with every single woman that has sat down. You guys have such hearts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every single one. It's the heart that you guys have, and what you're doing to help others is not something that I don't think is talked about enough.
Probably not. I remember, it's just, and I think being married to a gridiron player is a different kind of heart that the woman has to have. So, you know, you come forward with that, not only within your own family, but, you know, your community.
Yeah.
You know, Mary Davis, Beverly Lofton. I mean, they're more than just former wives. They're
Right.
my sisters.
Right,
You know, they're my
right.
family. They walked the hard part, you know, with me. So it was good. But anyway, I would like to plug also my daughter, who has
Please.
a little crock charm side hustle, I guess you
Oh,
call
I love
it.
it. Here, so put it up here.
So all of the ladies in their swag bag have
Oh, I
a
love
charm,
that.
and with her information how to order. And then my niece, who provided little Rice Krispie treats,
Oh, that's
and it
so
has
sweet.
the NFL
Yeah, look at that.
the logo on there. So anyway, so
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
yeah, might as well help the youngsters.
Yeah. So, where can people find you?
Okay, we'll see. I think I gave my IG
Yep.
address, and then Jade Martin's IG is at _jaded_bits BITZ.
That's amazing.
Yes, and then Baby Cakes and Beyond.
It's so cute, baby cakes.
I know, and you know what? I have her IG someplace, and I can't quite find it.
Well, they can.
But I know
contact
Cynthia.
you.
Cynthia has it.
Okay,
Cynthia
perfect.
Zornich has it for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, my God, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank
Regina.
you.
It's so wonderful.
Alrighty, so I'll just take this out of your way, and thank you for
Yes.
your time.
Oh my gosh, please. Thank you for joining YNS Alive with NFL Thread.
Absolutely.
And live from the luncheon. Now we're going to have our next guest, who is Brittany Alawale, who you guys know that I've had Britt on before.
Yes.
And we got to talk about, you guys have to go back to the episode. You can find it on Fireside or find it in my, Your Next Stop RSS feed, because it is there. And your story is an amazing one. And one of the things that you talked about that I absolutely loved, first you had an amazing mentor that really took your husband and you under their wings. But what you said that really stuck out to me is that you have to be prepared. You have to think every day could be your last day in the league. And you guys really worked to do that. So tell us what you did.
So in working that, thank you again so much for the opportunity to be able to talk with you guys, and definitely go watch the episode and all the other ones that she has. They're all amazing. But I would say definitely the skills and the lessons that we learned from playing in the NFL and the people that we met, finding a mentor like my mentor Bob, he was amazing. He gave us advice about, life's crazy. There's chaos all over the place, but it only lasts for a moment. And just stay committed to your plan. Having a plan for success is what's going to allow you to, go through your career and feel secure and be able to walk away, not limp away. So.
Yeah, so and I love that. So I know they have to listen to the whole episode, so we don't want to give it all away.
Yeah, I was giving you hints. I was giving you some hints.
Yeah, give them some hints. But then, what are you doing now? Because I know you're here. You have a table, and what is this?
So today I have Ask a Realtor table. So I wanted to be here to help out with asking any questions that you might have about real estate. I am a luxury realtor with Engel and Volkers Real Estate, and out in the DFW area. We also have offices out in LA, all over the United States, and international. So please hit me up if you guys have any questions. You can go to my Instagram, which is Brittany Alawale, and also my Facebook page. And if you have any questions about real estate, just no strings attached. Just feel free to message me, and I'll be here to help you guys.
Yeah, because one of the things that I think is important is that when a player gets transferred, you have to find a new house. And if you guys are out in the public. Yeah. So people, realtors or anyone's gonna, you don't know who's gonna take advantage of you. So to be able to have that in the community where you can kind of support your family and be like, hey guys, I know what you need.
Yes. I want to be there for you. I want to support you. I do a lot of transfers from state to state. I want to help out our brothers and sisters in the NFL. We're like a sorority and a fraternity, and it makes a difference when you have someone there to support you, understands your walk, your path, what you've been through, how to be able to pack up a house in 2 weeks and get out of there and move on to the next, and I get that. And I want to make sure that whenever I help clients partner with a real estate agent, that you have someone who understands you and understands what they're doing, but also is going to support you in what you need. So
I love that. So tell everyone where they can find you again.
Once again, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Brittany Alawale, and I'm with Engel and Volkers Real Estate in the DFW South Lake area.
Oh my God. Love. I'm so happy to meet this woman in person.
All right, you guys
You're
stay
wonderful.
blessed.
Thank you so much. So guys, again, you are here with YNS Live with NFL Thread. We are broadcasting live from the NFL Thread Luncheon here in LA. This is the Super Bowl experience. So YNS Live with NFL Thread experience is sponsored by Shutterstock Editorial. Wherever Shutterstock is, they are going to find you and capture it. That sounded creepy, but you know what I mean. So hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. So my name's Nicole Herman, and I work on our Women's Strategic Client Segment team at UBS. So everything we do is focused on helping women take a more active role in their finances. And over the last 5 years, UBS has sought to uncover and better understand how these major trends affect women and their financial well-being differently than their male counterparts.
Right. And one of the things I love, because I know UBS is a huge sponsor of Cynthia Zordich and Thread, so they're big in the playbook. Every year they're always here. And so what does it mean to you to be able to come with a group of women that you know that you can give advice to and really, really help?
It's inspiring. It's such an amazing opportunity to be able to be here and get to meet these incredible women. We want to be here, especially to emphasize this important message that you do not need to be a financial expert. You simply need to participate, and we want to reframe how women think about that so they can accomplish their goals and their dreams, whether it's giving back philanthropically or potentially starting a business. We want them to understand that they deserve a seat at the table, and we want them to participate.
I love that. And one of the things that you touched on, and that's one of the things that why I started this, this series of my podcast, is it's so important because an NFL spouse, they are following their husband, and there's times where they lose themselves a little bit, right? So that they kind of lose themselves. And so it's important if they're going to start their own business or become, start a charity, to kind of know what there is behind that. So the fact that you guys are there supporting them, letting them know in a safe environment. So it's safe because Cynthia, is there. You guys can trust. It's nice that you can be here.
Absolutely. And we actually do. So our team is part of a broader strategic client segments team at the firm. So we also have a business owners team, and they have a robust offering to help business owners grow, manage, and ultimately exit their business. So it's nice because we can touch upon all these special and unique areas, but ultimately come together for afternoons like this and support one another.
Right. Oh my God. Okay, so tell everyone where they can find you.
So our external website is available at ubs.com/women, and all of our intellectual capital, event replays, podcast articles, all the good stuff is available there. And, we love to be part of these events and continue to share the importance to own your worth.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining and sharing.
Thank you.
And again, being here to, to educate, because education,
Absolutely.
Once you learn and you hear other stories and you hear of other people doing things, you get more comfortable to kind of dig in and want to learn a bit more. So thank you so much for joining YNS
Thank you.
Live.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right, so we are going to be waiting for, I have some ladies sitting behind me that we don't know. So whoever is next is going to join us. You guys are here with YNS Live with NFL Thread, live from the NFL Thread Luncheon. And you guys can hear all different noises. This is the first time that we're broadcasting in this kind of atmosphere. But look at this. MRN Agency has, hooked us up amazing. So you guys are getting this experience here. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I love your skirt, by the way.
Thank you. I love your dress. We need to swap.
We do. So please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Michelle McElroy. My husband is Ray McElroy. He's a former NFLer for the Bears, the Colts, and the Lions. And I just came to town to network and enjoy the festivities.
I love that. So, as when you said the 3 different cities that your husband went to,
yeah.
Tell us a little about that. When you have to pick up and move, what does that do to a family union? And what does that do to you as the woman that's kind of holding everything together?
Yeah, it could be a bit much, because it's abrupt. You never know in advance. But we were lucky enough to be all Midwest teams. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but we're from the Midwest, and all the teams he played for were in the Midwest. But once he got to the home team, Mama stayed home. Right. That's how that goes. So we were 2 kids in at that point, so I pretty much stayed home after that.
So, and you touched on something, because when I interviewed Cynthia, one of the things that she said that a lot of women do, a lot of families do, is you find that home that you stay.
Yes.
So it's like especially when your kids get older, you want that home, and then when you're traveling, you can figure out where you're going and stuff like that. So how, again, you said that you found that home team, but how is it if you're in a place that you're not loving? Like, what does that do to your mindset as a woman that maybe has dreams and aspirations that you kind of have to put on the back burner?
Yeah, it can be difficult. It's so ironic you're saying this because I just interviewed someone on my podcast too about the same thing.
You got to talk about this, okay?
Right. And the thing is it's a difficult transition to make, you know, but you have to be patient with the seasons of life that you have, you know, because each season has beautiful gifts to offer if you look at it from that perspective, you know. So when he went to the Bears, which was home for us, then that was home for me. You know, I had 2 kids, one in the oven, and then I had all my support system right there. Right. So for some wives, they move and make home a town that they've never lived in before. And that proves to be even more difficult because you have to then build your support system. Right. And sometimes it doesn't come from the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you touched that. You have a podcast. What do you do? What do you do?
So I'm a marriage coach. I love what I do. I love to encourage people to be intentional about their marriage. I always say, listen, we get a car, we expect a car to last at least 10 years, and we do all these things to make this car go. We get oil changes, we get gas, we get tune-ups, you know, just all these different things, right, for 10 years. But what do we do to make our marriages last until death do us part?
Right.
A lot of people just want that to happen, you know. But no, you got to work. Yeah, you got to work at it. You got to put in the work, and I like to help people put in the work.
All right, well, tell people where they can find you, but then also what your podcast is called.
Awesome. So it's Wife for Life. That's the name of my podcast. You can find me on Anchor or Spotify. You can also find me on YouTube. When I interview a guest, we do a YouTube video.
Right.
And so it's just been awesome interviewing different wives, particularly in the Chicagoland area, that are doing big things, or their husband are doing big things, and they just want to support them.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I like. Okay, so Instagram. Can people find you on Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
Absolutely, Mrs. Ma'am. Mrs. MAHM. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait to check out your podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so we are here, and we have so many people that want to share what they are doing. Got a little dry mouth? That's okay. Need a little chapstick? No, a little bit more water, please, yes. And so now we're going to have, come on in, Fabulous Red.
Hello there.
How are you? So I know and I love your pants. I know we met earlier, but if you can just introduce yourself and share, we're going to pull this down a little bit so it's not right in your face so they can see your gorgeous face. Introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay. My name is Grace Long, and I currently am working with NFL alumni on their health initiative, as well as a newly appointed board member of the SoCal chapter, in which I am the marketing partnerships and member relations.
Involved in that.
Well, I used to work at the league office in New York because I'm originally born and raised in New York, and
that's where I live now.
New Yorker. So I just love the weather here, though. So that's just it. And we just brought all this weather for all of the visiting people.
I actually had a different outfit that I was going to wear, and then realized I could sweat. I need to change it up. So it's so fun.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like this week, I'm always like for some reason cold.
Right.
So I originally had like sweater dresses planned, and then I said, well, it's going to be 80.
Right.
So I think that I don't need the sweater.
Right. And I mean the weather. It's hot, but it's not New York hot.
Exactly. It's really enjoyable. So
yeah.
I have a feeling a lot of people might decide to move and not go back.
Right. Right. So how did you get involved? Like, what was the path when you graduated school? This podcast is about storytelling. Okay. It's about sharing your story, and really my goal for women and men that are listening to this is if they're sitting in a job or sitting in a part of life that they're not happy with, right? They're it's all right. I want them to listen to a podcast. I want them to listen to something and say, wait a second, that's really interesting. I would like to explore, and then go and explore and make something bigger than they're doing now, because we're not trees, right? We don't need to stay where we are. If you're feeling stuck or unsettled, you need to do something about it. So how did you fall into what you're doing?
Thank you for that, because I actually, initially when I first met you, the card that I pulled out was a blank card. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like it's a blank card and an open slate, right? Because basically I feel like we just like limit ourselves. And I know that um, you know, based on like what we think we can do, it's so narrow.
Right.
But we're actually able and capable to do so many things.
So many things.
And my passion has always been about health and wellness and making a positive impact in the world. So when this opportunity with NFL alumni came up, I just felt like it was in alignment with what my goals are.
Right.
Because right now we're working with the CDC in partnership in terms of helping communities, people, as far as vaccination. It's like if you have a question about it, seek from an expert, a health expert, a trusted thing. Find out the answers and make an informed decision. And that's where I see that we've been making strides. We had about 15 vaccination events already, and it's more again about promoting awareness and education. It's not it's just make the best decision for you, your family, your community. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all about. Like our goals for NFL alumni have always been about caring for our own, our children, and our community.
Right.
And that's like in a direct alignment with me and my passions.
So that's amazing.
So, and that's why it just spoke to me. And now I'm on the board from a charity aspect, helping like James Washington, who is our president, and he has a foundation called Shelter 37 that supports kids that are transitioning out of the foster care into thriving adulthood, and again about education, providing them with the right tools.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm like very passionate about just like giving back. How can I be of service? And when Cindy told me about this, I love to help and build community, and I want more women to be involved, and that's why I feel like my name is Grace, so it's like I feel like I'm giving a little bit of grace to everyone, and I want everyone to feel welcome to speak to me. And if you have any questions, if I don't know the answer, I will help you to find the answers.
That's amazing. So where can people find you?
They can find me. I can give them my email.
Yeah, give me your email. Yeah.
Grace dot Leung at NFLalumni.org. Please feel free to reach out. I am happy to help and connect, and let's just do everything together. I think it's all about not competing, but building.
Right. Okay, well, I hear testing, so I'm not sure what's happening with the microphone. But Grace, thank you so much for joining. It was so nice to meet you. And thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Pablo, what is on? Guys, we're going to take a break for a second. Okay, we're back as the fire trucks are right outside. Of course, never a dull moment.
No.
With YNS Live with NFL Thread with my guest, Dr. Nicole Payton. And look at this. Look at this red. I mean, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So I know we started talking and then the fire trucks came.
Yes.
So I would love for you to tell. You said 21 years you've been here?
I've been with the NFL as a sports publicist and crisis management strategist for 20 years. I started my career at Super Bowl 36. We're now at Super Bowl 56.
Wow.
20 years serving current and retired NFL players, working with the Super Bowl host committee and the Super Bowl gospel celebration. So I manage players. I manage all aspects of public relations, and I also do the crisis of making sure players stay out of trouble, clean up their spilled milk, and make sure it doesn't get out into the media. So if you want to call me Olivia Pope, that's what I am.
I mean, amazing. So how did you get involved in that?
Wow. Long story short, I was working in corporate law. And I was trying to work in the entertainment industry as an entertainment attorney. I was going to Temple University for law school for 2 years.
Okay.
It was stressing me out. It was not working out. And I ran into a former player, and he said, I don't see you doing entertainment. I see you doing sports, like be a sports agent. And I took his advice, and I got an internship. And that internship brought me to Super Bowl 36 as a volunteer ambassador with the Super Bowl host committee.
And I love that it was an internship.
Yes. And it just rolled into a career 20 years later.
Okay, so I need to know your whole story. So I have cards. I would love you to come on the podcast for like a whole
Yes.
story, because this is what this podcast is about. It's about following your gut.
Yes.
And when you have an intuition of like, I don't love what I'm doing, and the fact that you did that, and so many women don't do that. They still continue, okay, I went to college for this, so that's what I have to follow.
Right.
And then 20 years in, they're like, I'm miserable.
Right.
And I mean, men too.
Right,
It's really, it's everyone.
Well, I tell everybody, I didn't choose sports. Sports chose me.
Right.
It was a purposeful assignment, and I asked God why. And God said, you have leadership skills that these guys need. I knew nothing about football, nothing about an athlete. Didn't date an athlete, wasn't related to an athlete, nothing.
Even though your last name is Payton.
Well, I am related to a football player, but that's on my father's side, which I found out later on. But I had no connection. I had no alliance with the NFL. And I was going between the NBA and the NFL, and I felt that my personality, my skill set was more fitted for the NFL. And when I started to join the Super Bowl gospel celebration and seeing that these guys are much more than just athletes, these are family men,
Yes.
these are businessmen, I said, wow, this is where I need to be. And I felt that I could be myself.
Right.
It took a long time. You know, I had to build relationships
Right.
along the way, and I'm still on the bench. I'm not in the game yet. But once I get inside the NFL and get an executive position alongside Roger Goodell and with their crisis management and their diversity and conclusion, I will be making the touchdowns. I will be a champion.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, so where can people find you?
I am on all social media, Instagram, the PNP Agency, LinkedIn as Dr. Paris Nicole Payton, Facebook as Dr. Paris Nicole Payton, and my website is www.thepnpagency.com. Again, I am moving out of the public relations. That's a little bit more, that's so bubblegum to me now. But I'm moving into the more crisis management, diversity and conclusion. And my dissertation was on crisis management.
I was going to say, what did you get your tell us
My
a little bit about
doctorate
that.
is in Doctor of Business Administration with a concentration in leadership. Not to boast, I am the first publicist with a doctorate in the sports and entertainment industry.
You should definitely boast.
I am the third doctor in my family.
Amazing.
And I am Alpha Sigma Phi.
That, I mean.
And 20 years later.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Good for you. Good for you following a passion.
God had a bigger plan.
Yep.
I love the NFL. I know they got some stuff with them, but I love them.
Right.
And I want them to love me back.
Right. Well, Dr. Nicole Payton,
Yes.
thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
YNS Live with NFL Thread.
I appreciate it. Thank you. This is wonderful. And
Thank
I'd
you.
love to come back. Thank
Yes,
you.
please. I will. We'll connect.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
take you care. Thank you so much. So do we need to take a break while they're talking? Or we're okay? We can have another person? Okay, yeah, please join. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So what? So you're gonna want to put that a little closer.
Okay.
So we can because it got real loud.
Yeah.
So welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread podcast. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Michelle McCrae, and I work with the Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust. It's a nonprofit, and we develop parks and gardens in low-income, under-resourced communities here in Los Angeles.
Wonderful. Now, what brings you to NFL Thread Luncheon?
I'm a guest, and I've just loved everything they've been involved with and the spirit of the event. So I was really excited to come and meet yourself and meet some of the other ladies, the new board, etc. And so I'm just thrilled to be a part of a pretty inspiring women's organization. You don't see a ton of, they're starting, but like a ton of them that where you really feel like there's a camaraderie.
Yes.
And there's a spirit of joining together. We all rise together. And the focus really being on, us.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a part of the organization, but us as women. So
Right.
really
No.
excited to be here.
I love it. So give us a little bit of background. How did you get involved in the Land Trust?
In the
and all
Land
that?
Trust. So I've always loved nonprofits. I've been in the for-profit world for sales, for organic meal delivery, and loved it. But I always felt like there was something missing. I wanted to do something that was more meaningful.
Yep.
And so I started getting into what it would take to be a part of nonprofits and using my sales background for fundraising, which is what I do.
Right. Okay.
And I originally was with an organization that mentored children whose parents are battling or passed away from cancer. Loved it. It's very one-on-one, meaningful. But I wanted a broader way to influence a larger portion, make an impact. And it was right in 2020 when everything was starting. Woo! With
Can you still hear us? So give us 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, now
There's
now
some hoopla.
yeah, there's always some stuff going on, and we're trying to work through.
So it was right in that time of the 2020, right when everything was going on with George Floyd, and I just felt like I wanted to use my talent to make a difference here in LA to the communities that needed it most. And I'm thrilled to be there every day. And we've been around for 20 years. We've built 29 parks and gardens throughout the county. I'm so proud of them. We're about to open up our largest to date. It's an 8.5 acre park in West Carson, where the communities have had nothing walking distance within a mile. For the last 50 years, there's been nothing available to them.
God, that's so amazing.
This is going to be built with a little league baseball field, which they haven't had, the full backstop, basketball courts, walking trails, shade. So I'm really excited. That opens later this spring.
Right.
And we also work with some youth programs. We developed a youth program in South LA where we work with high school students in a garden. And so they learn about leadership and cooperation and sustainability and the environment, all from just digging in the ground and growing tomatoes and cabbages.
Right.
And it's so beautiful. And we work with about 40 students a year.
Oh, I love that. So this is, I mean, again, I was talking about these events and the women that I am talking to, and I know you're not an NFL spouse, but you're here as a guest. And there's so much heart in all of this. There's so much giving back. There's so much wanting to do better for the community that it's really a special, I mean, the fact that even their guests are even giving back and networking. And that's what this whole podcast is about. So where can people find you?
So they can find us on our website, lanlt.org. And my information, Michelle McCrae, is on there. My email, mcrae, MCRAE, at lanlt.org. And we do volunteer work days for groups. I was talking to some of the ladies about possibly hosting one at some of our gardens where they can see it firsthand.
Right.
We always need help weeding. Weeding and taking out trash.
Right.
So yeah, we'd love to hear from anybody that's interested. And we always are looking for volunteers.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. It's so nice to meet you.
You too.
And keep doing what you're doing. I mean,
Thanks so
amazing.
much. Thanks for everything you do.
Yes, thank you so much. So guys, we're here with YNS Live with NFL Thread, where there's a presentation going on, so we're going to take a short break, but YNS Live with NFL Thread, this Super Bowl experience is brought to you by Shutterstock. Wherever Shutterstock is, they will be capturing it. So you guys will be seeing some amazing images. You can see the over here, this backdrop, MRN Agency has been really amazing helping us with getting the sound up. I mean, this is not easy. We are broadcasting live in a restaurant where we have a live event. I know I'm looking over here, and I'm supposed to be looking over here. So, I mean, this is just, it's such an experience. I'm so blessed and honored to be a part of this and to be a part of this event. Tomorrow, again, we are going to be doing this, but we're going to be doing this mobile at the fashion show. And you've heard some of the women talk about the off the field fashion show. So that is going to be the supporting Holly Rod, and there's tons of sponsors that are going to be there. There's also a red carpet, and from what I understand, there's going to be some big people. So you guys definitely want to tune in to Fireside again tomorrow. If you are not there, you need to get on. So go into the link in my bio. You will find it where you can download it, and then you can get there. So we will be taking a short break, and thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. I'm Julie. Gosh, okay, pause. Yeah, no, you come in. No, you're not. No, I was ready to get up. No, come sit down. We're not gonna take a short break. Are you guys good? Okay. No, sit down. Yeah. He told me I need to give you a break. Do I need to give you a break?
Yeah, we can. I'm not going anywhere.
No, you're totally fine. No, there was no one else, so I was gonna take a break because there was,
Well, Cynthia's been telling me to get over here. So
yes, please. So introduce yourself.
My name is Will Browning, and I'm actually a guest here today of Cynthia Zordich, and happy to be here. I'm an executive producer on a film called Saving the Roar, which is a unbelievable story on the 2012 Penn State football team and the adversity that they overcame that year, and sticking together, keeping the program together, and just happy to be a part of the team that's trying to get that story out to the world. So she told me about this event. I was very happy to attend, and obviously wanted to represent the film too.
No, and I know Cynthia, and I know her family, and I know how much the film means to them. So thank you for joining. So give us a little bit. I would love to hear your story. How did you get involved in all this?
Oh, so that's a funny story. So as Hollywood is, I guess. So I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
I moved out about 18 years ago to Beverly Hills. I have an insurance practice, so I sell life and disability insurance. Have a large athlete client list. A lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in front of the camera and behind the camera. I've been very blessed. It's a great business. One of my dear friends and client of 20 years had an exit from a business, and a very nice exit from a business. And he's a Penn Stater. And he really was adamant that he felt like the real story from that 2012 team was how these young men really banded together to overcome some of the hills that they were faced with. And so I introduced him to a really good friend of mine and client who is an award-winning director. And we literally sat at the Beverly Hills Hotel, mapped it out on a napkin, and by the time we were all done, they both turned to me and said, "So you're going to be an executive producer on this?" I said, "What is that?" They said, "Well, you put this together." So that's how this works. So I said, "Hey, I'm happy to be part of it." And it's been wonderful. It's really been a highlight for me personally. I played baseball in college, so
sports, yeah.
And I obviously have followed the story tradition program at Penn State. And so just to be a part of that group to put this story out there, so it's been phenomenal. So that's kind of but I've been to Happy Valley, been to State
Happy
College.
Valley,
It's one of a kind. And a lot of people don't realize this, but that football program brings in a substantial amount of money for that community.
Yes.
And so had that program collapsed, which at some points in time,
there
were a lot of people that thought it might happen. That would really be detrimental to that community. So those guys really saw that. And so they committed to staying and sticking there and for the community and playing for the community. And so it's really special to be a part of that. And when you go there and you're with those gentlemen, you're like walking with royalty. I mean, it's something to be.
One of my best friends went to Penn State. I mean, but the other thing is that is really the heart of those young men that you talked about.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they, and Cynthia Zordich, Michael Zordich is one of the guys that's involved in it. It really was a special group of boys. And, I talk about this on the podcast all the time. I really believe that we all have a path, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the universe. I believe in God, but that we all don't always find it. And it really is about your story and what your morals are and what is your background and what you are to the core. And the fact that group of boys was put together is
the right
no
time,
accident.
at the right time.
It's no accident. It was God's path. It was,
And, and I'll even go a step further and say with Michael Zordich and with Michael Maldi, they were legacy players.
Right.
Both their fathers played at Penn State. So even more so, sort of, they kind of accepted this challenge. Right. And I, a lot of, which gets overlooked is that year, and when the sanctions came out by the NCAA, one of them was that you could transfer. This was before the transfer portal.
Oh, right.
You could transfer to another program and not have to sit out a year.
Right.
And oh, by the way, if you're a university and you're at max scholarships, but you bring in a Penn State, we'll allow you to go over.
Right.
So some unheard of
crazy
events.
Things were happening. I mean, I remember all of that. And I played sports in college as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. That's going to really hurt that Penn State. Like, I was like, no, I mean, the circumstances were awful. I'm not awful, but you had to think about the people that weren't involved in those circumstances. They still had lives too, and they had, dreams. And so the fact that, they put that in there, that was very nerve-wracking. And then that group, so continue what you were going to say.
They really stepped up. I mean, they, it's also when you would say some of the adults were really nowhere to be found. It was these young men that sort of banded together, and they literally, this really blew me away when we were talking about this story and the guys were sitting around the table, we'd finished dinner, and they kept using the word war room. Right. War room. And I'm thinking, you guys are in college, and you guys had to create a war room now. Right. And what that was all hands on deck. And they literally broke down all the position players and who was going to basically go back and make sure that they were committed and re-recruit them. They were re-recruit. Meanwhile, you had other schools. You had Illinois on campus.
Right.
You had other schools that were actively recruiting. So it was a lot going on at that time. And these are young men.
Right, young. I mean, right. And you can't, as we know, when we're young, our brains are not always there, right?
And the year before, they were 11-1, and that one loss was to Alabama, and Alabama went on to win the national championship that year. So you're thinking you're coming back to this 2012. We have a shot at playing for the national championship. Right. And 6 weeks before, when the NCAA levied those sanctions, it really was tough. But the real heart of those guys and the families, bonds, and just and I'll also say the alumni football players, which are the Lettermen. That's what the group is called. They, within a few days' moment notice on a request from Bill O'Brien, all converged to Happy Valley to come talk to the players.
Wow.
And their message was, you're not going to be able to see this now.
Right.
But you staying here years from now is where you're really going to understand. And, for a group of young men facing all these challenges, it was, I think, meant a lot that these gentlemen paused their lives. Very successful people. A lot of them flew in on their own planes.
Right.
But to come and spend the time with these young men, it was really, they had always heard about the Letterman.
Right.
But now they felt it.
They felt it.
And so it really, the story just really plays out. It's unbelievable. So we're just happy to be able to tell it and really want to get these guys, the story out there for what they did. Yeah. So it's a great sports story, but it's also a great human story. I mean, look, a couple years ago, at the start of all this COVID, no one signed up for this.
Right.
It's something that came unexpected, and so, but you have to overcome the adversity. You have to fight through it. You have to figure it out. And so these guys, very similar, they didn't sign up for that. They didn't, but they dealt with it,
in the best way they could. And they did.
Yeah.
But they dealt with it in a very brave and honorable way, So tell people where they can find Save and find you as well. You have a business as well.
Yeah. So I have an insurance firm. It's called the MB Group, mbgroup.org, and I'm sorry, mbgroup.net.
Don't go to org. Don't go to org.
Yeah, and it's a great firm. My partner's been doing the business for 43 years. And we love what we do.
Yeah.
The movie, we're in talks right now with networks and streamers. And so we're hoping to have, some good news soon with where it's going to land. But we really are wanting to bring it into all the homes across the country and really allow everyone to see this. We're also working on a version of the film that's going to get condensed into about a 30, 45-minute film, but it's going to be educational. And our goal there is to go across the country to high schools and colleges and really sort of, identify and tell the story, but, point out the lessons learned and,
Right.
and really, some of the educational, aspects of it. Pivotal Moments Media, which I'm also involved with, is really focused on mental fitness and mental wellness.
Love that.
And putting out content around that. And so Pivotal Moments Media wants to basically sponsor and take this course. We're working with athletic directors across the country to sort of get this message into the school. So there's a lot to come. It's not just a film. It's, kind of a call to action.
Right.
And really want to take advantage of what this story is and what it means and how it could lessons learned and how it can help, kids that are coming up, not just athletes, but everyone.
Right.
It's just a great story on coming together.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the things I was saying earlier is even the guests of it, you're not part of the NFL, but the guests that come to this luncheon, everyone has such a heart.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is about helping and being there. I keep hitting my mic, sorry. Everyone's here about helping and encouraging others. And so that's why I absolutely love being a part of this, because you can just feel everyone's heart. So thank you for doing what you're doing and helping that group. But seeing the bigger picture, right? You saw the bigger picture and what it can do, and then the school part. So thank you. And
my pleasure.
So
and
nice
I'm
meeting you.
happy to be here. Nice to meet you. And
yes.
Happy to be on your podcast.
Yes, YNS Live with NFL Thread.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Have
Bye
a
bye.
good day.
We got some more people. Yeah, come on up. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself. So you just want to be, and you want to make sure that's
okay.
So introduce yourself and why you're here.
Ryan Mesfin. I work with UBS, and I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. So you are here. The guys talking. So I know we've spoken to a couple of the other UBS. What is for you to be at an event like this?
Well, being in this space, and one of the things I've seen is that I want to be very intentional in helping women and people of color sort of have the knowledge and power to have generational wealth, right? So that's really important to us. And we want to do everything we can monetarily, knowledge-wise, to make sure that that knowledge is out and women and particularly people of color can have generational wealth that will impact their families for the future to come.
Right. And so I mean, this is the YNS Live with NFL Thread is all about stories. My podcast, Your Next Stop, is all about stories.
Yes.
As I said, when I was talking, stories are what connect us.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with the UBS? What is your background?
So I was born in Ethiopia. I came to the States when I was 14. Couldn't speak English. And no one in my family knew what a stock was. It's just not a thing we did, right?
Right.
And so went to college and played soccer at Berry College. And after that, I was supposed to get I got into NC State to get my advanced degree in biochemistry. And I called my parents and I told them I wasn't going to do it. And so for an immigrant parent, that is education is like Jesus. Right? It's the thing, right? So, and I was using language like, I want to find myself, and just classic American language, right? Which an old school immigrant person just doesn't understand. And so, but what I convinced my mom was that I'm a firstborn, and I go, me, I'm a hard worker, right? She goes, trust me, and she did.
Right.
And really, when I got in this business, it was very naive on my part, because the idea that a name like Araya Mesfin in the South could go meet in front, get in front of people typically that have a lot of wealth and get them to trust me was a very naive and really stupid idea. But it worked.
But sometimes that's what it is, right? Sometimes.
No, looking back, I'm like, I probably wouldn't have done it again. I mean, that was really not bright what I did. And, the first 4 years or so, I worked about 70 to 100 hours a week. And I was single, so there wasn't any tension at home. But that's what it took, because I'm a first generation. I don't know anyone with money. And so it took a lot of work to get there.
Right. But so this is what I talk about on the podcast all the time. We all have a path, whether you believe in God or the universe.
That's right.
And we don't always find it, right?
Yeah.
But people need to feel and listen. So the fact that you were like, something doesn't feel right. I feel unsettled.
Yes.
I need to explore that. And I find with a lot of people, they don't. They're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. My parents want me to do this. And the guilt and the fear of failure. And what am I doing? But the fact that you were like, no, I am going to do it. Yeah. It's what God was just putting it loud in your ear.
100%. So, it hit me when I realized that I don't want to spend 15 hours a day isolating mutative genes and a fruit fly, right? As a
Sounds
scientist.
terrible, but
I'm a people's person, right? So,
Right.
but you're right. It took courage, and I don't think of myself as someone that has courage, but that's what it took, and it changed my life, right? So now, you know, I've built a very successful business. What I want to do is, I want to help women and people of color advance in every way. I want to be an ally. I'm very passionate, particularly after George Floyd incident. I vowed to myself that I will have receipts by the time I die, that I helped in a tangible way,
Right.
not just in a theoretical way, in a tangible, legitimate way.
Right.
Right. And so that's why we're here.
I love that. I love that. Well, please tell people where they can find you.
Yes. So you can find us on, obviously, our UBS website. It's Caliber Wealth Consulting. We're based out of Atlanta, but we have team members in Greenville, South Carolina, LA, and New York. And so we're a fairly diverse team. And our clients include athletes, executives, your normal millionaire next door, and business owners.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And you know what? Awesome for you to go out and take a risk.
Yeah,
And see what it's done.
You know, so that's the thing. It's like, I tell people, I don't know that if this story that a black African within one generation could have this kind of success, I don't know that could happen in any other country, to be honest. I don't know that it could happen in France or Sweden or Denmark. And so for all its flaws, there's still a lot of good stories in this country that it allows us to gain wealth, right? With little resistance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
so that
amazing.
part I'm very appreciative of.
Yeah. Well,
So,
good for you.
yes.
Thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I take a picture of us?
Yeah, please. Do you guys mind grabbing a picture?
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
You're a great interviewer.
Oh, thank you. You know, I fell into this.
Oh my gosh, you're like a natural.
I'm a mom, and I started my own business
like-
a couple years ago.
Thank
so
you.
if you ever, I mean, because this is my passion. Like God was like, this is what you want to do. I started in 2019, and then during COVID, I started interviewing people, and I was like, oh my God,
Gosh, yeah.
this is what I want to do. And
You make people feel at ease, and that's a gift.
and you know, a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I
And I'm not the first to tell you.
Welcome back to YNS Live with NFL Thread. Guys, we've had so many great stories, so many great people coming on and talking about why they're here and what their story is. And we have another awesome guest. Look at the jewelry. Look at the outfit. So please introduce yourself.
Angela Allen.
So you are whose best friend?
Sharice Brown.
Yes, and so you helped find Off the Field. Were you friends with her? That you're the friend that started that with her, right?
That is correct. Yes.
So okay, so I want to hear all about this. So everyone, you guys know that Sharice, we've had her on the podcast. She's talked about her story. An amazing heart. You know, you're her best friend.
Yes.
I mean, just such a beautiful woman. So I would love to hear, how did that come about? How did you help her find Off the Field?
Well, actually, the fashion show came prior to Off the Field.
Right. So we've talked to a bunch
Right?
of women. Right. So they've been talking about how the fashion show was here before.
So we would always go to Super Bowl and follow Tim around to all these golf tournaments. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how boring. We would
So there was nothing for
literally-
you, what you're
nothing.
saying, nothing for the wives and nothing for the
women.
guests, right? Nothing for the women.
Nothing for the women. So we were at one of the Super Bowls and we just started talking and we just started writing, you know, at the table, taking notes, scratch paper, like, give me a yellow pad. I need paper here. You know, and we just started writing something. We wanted to provide a platform where the wives are center of attraction and not so much in the shadow.
And so the fact that you just said that, that's what, after I interviewed Cynthia, I said to her, okay, why don't none of us know about this? Why don't we know that you've done a fashion show for 21 years?
Right.
And you guys raise so much money for organizations and you help, and every single woman and every single person, even the guest, even the men that have sat here, everyone has such a heart.
Yes.
It's all about helping and doing things. So I just love that you were her friend that were like, let's do
Yes.
this. Let's get this. This is not, I don't want to be at the golf tournaments. I mean, it's, you know,
Right.
we're people too, and we've got ambitions and you know, we want to do things. So tell us a little bit about you and what your background is, because YNS Live is all about storytelling.
Right. So I guess my story, the greatest part of my story is, number one, the most ironic part is I'm not an NFL wife, but I've been engrafted into this amazing group of women because of what I've done in all the years that have passed. But I think my story shifted in 2014 when I lost my spouse.
I'm sorry.
And I was a young widow, right?
Right.
So as UBS was talking about leaving a legacy and things like that, that became real for me.
Right.
You know, you have a small child and now I'm head of household, you know?
Right.
I have to do it all. So my journey has developed into creating some products that are relating to grief. And I'm working on a jewelry line. The amazing Zoe that spoke earlier, I mean, she inspired me because I'm in the process of developing jewelry as it relates to grief.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you and her need to connect.
We need to connect.
You do
Yes.
need to connect. You need
Yes.
to connect. Well, but that's the thing. And this is what, you know, again, now everyone's going to start laughing but I talk about this all the time. We all have a path.
Yes.
And
we do.
whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the universe, we all have a path. And not everyone finds it.
Right.
But if we listen to an intuition, there's always that feeling of, like in your gut if you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. Like
That
God,
is correct.
He sends that to you, right? He sends it to you.
Yes.
Not all of us listen. A lot of us, you know, people ignore it. They ignore it. And what's really important is not ignoring it.
Right.
Is going with it. It's scary. You know, you could fail. Yep. There's so many different things that can happen. So the fact that out of tragedy,
Yes.
you're thinking of something and you're like, you know what? I want to do something to help more.
Yes.
And so when did that come to, like, when did you decide this is what I want to do? I want to do the jewelry. How did that come about?
Well, I decided after my daughter's book, we wrote a book called A Place Far Away. And she was 8 years old when she developed the characters, everything that was the basis of the book. But then I come along, thank you, and as you know, as the adult, and we bring structure to it. And I said, what is the thing that needs to be communicated to a young child? They don't understand death.
Right.
They don't understand you will never see this person again.
Right.
So Michaela in the book had charms which were representative of what her father left her. Courage, love.
Oh, I love that.
Her love for dance, watching her dance, and the different little charms. So that's where we came up with the concept to leave something tangible
Right.
that you can remember your loved one by.
That is amazing. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And the fact that you and your daughter are doing it together.
That's right.
I mean, that
Yes.
look at your smile.
Yes.
I mean, that is incredible.
Yes.
And it is one of those things that one of the women that I interviewed when you started talking, it brought me back. She was one of my first interviews.
Okay.
And she has something called the Fairy Club. Now, her niece was murdered in London, and they never had any tragedy. She's like, we had just she's like, I don't even, we had nothing. She's like, we had like the perfect kind of family. Things were sad sometimes, but never anything like that. And their entire family fell apart because no
Yes.
one knew how to deal with it.
No one knew
how to deal. So she created all these books. And this whole, but hers was around fairies. She loved fairies. And so each fairy has an emotion and things like that. But that's where it reminded me, it kind of brought me to that.
Yes.
Because it is sometimes out of tragedy, beautiful things can happen.
Yes.
And it doesn't, dismiss that, you had a terrible thing happen to you. Your daughter had a terrible thing happen.
Yes.
But the fact that she's looking at it and saying, okay, Dad's here with us.
He's here with us.
And then we start getting like all emotional, but he's here with us. He's here with us, and he has put this in my path to start creating this.
Yes.
It's a really beautiful thing.
Yes.
So tell us where people can find you.
Oh, wow. Really, on my phone number. I've not developed the website
Okay, but
yet.
what email? So people can, so they
email.
can follow.
Yeah, so they
do
can.
you have an Instagram or?
I
Facebook?
do. I have
Yeah.
Instagram.
So that's where they can find you. 'Cause
Yes.
That's where you'll start talking about it when it comes out, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what you're going to talk about.
And it's under Masterful Collective, MasterfulCollective. Masterful Collective. That's my
love that.
Instagram. And I'm also on Facebook under Angela Richardson Allen.
So perfect. So people can go and they can follow this unfold, which is really fun.
That's right. It's going to be unfolding.
It's
And
gonna be
I'm so
unfolding.
inspired. And I want to thank you for what you've done and the stories that you brought up, because it encourages people like me when sometimes you think like, no, you get insecure, but then you hear something amazing and you said, you know what, I can do it too.
Right. So I'm going to give you my card because I want you to, as you keep creating this, I want you to come on the podcast and really talk about it. Okay. And as it's like, getting into fruition. Yes.
Let's do that.
Yes, please do. Oh my gosh,
that.
Angela, it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread Podcast. Guys, this is YNS Live. The Shutterstock is our sponsor. They are coming around taking pictures, which is amazing. You guys can see here, back here, MRR. Now I can't even speak. MRN Agency is here with the audio, with the backdrops. We have the step and repeat, all the gift and swag bags. So, Angela,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Oh my God. Please. Take a break because I need to pee. I mean, it's been a long time, and I'm holding it, and I don't hold it well. Great. Guys, welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread. I keep looking over there. YNS Live with NFL Thread. So you have seen it's not just the ladies, and so now I want to introduce you to the wonderful Michael Mckenzie. So give us your background. I'm not going to even say, and then Rachel's got to come back, and she's got to come back and do it. Yeah.
Who that? Well, my background is a humble beginner from South Florida. Was gracious enough to be drafted in the NFL in 1999. Was blessed enough to have an 11-year NFL career. Played with the Green Bay Packers, drafted 3rd round out of Memphis University. Spent 5.5 years in Green Bay. Played 5.5 in New Orleans. And because I have such a super wife, we've been able to transition away from the game. And I'm really just honored to be here with Thread, with the NFL Wives. And the Wives do so much for the players behind the scenes that most people don't know about.
Right.
It's great just to have an opportunity to be in a supportive role. Super honored. My wife is now the president of the NFL Wives Association. Big ups to Erica Lassiter for her great leadership over the years. It's Cindy, and I mean the organization is it's big. Shit, excuse my French, but it's big.
you can say shit.
It's big. So for me, just having an opportunity to be in a supportive role for my wife and for the NFL Wives. It meant a lot. So just being here, this is one of my favorite events of the whole weekend, coming out with the Thread, with all the behind-the-scenes things that Thread does, and then leading into the NFL Wives fashion show. So my wife has found a way because she knows how to do it.
She does.
The participation is fabulous. And like I said before, just as a husband, having an opportunity to, take a seat back and watch the awesome things that the women are doing is really what it's about.
It's amazing. But so you have a charity, and I know we talked about this on the podcast when I had Rachel. I mean, one thing about you guys as a couple that just really came out was, the care and love, because when she talks about both of your backgrounds and then what it was always been in your heart. And so I want you to talk about your charity, because this is something that was close to your heart for a long time. And then you were able to, because of the position you were, that God put you in as a player, to be able to kind of create this. Can you tell us a little bit about your charity?
Well, the 34 Ways Foundation is about teaching, reaching, and educating youth. You could go to 34waysfoundation.org or .com to find out tons of information about the impact that we're having in community. But the big thing for us is just supporting teachers, supporting coaches, supporting parents, supporting church. And that makes up the whole NFL family. And for me, just being supported so much by the community and having so many coaches, parents, pick me up as a young kid, buy lunches for it, buy cliques. And so just having an opportunity now to help bridge those gaps that's in so many of our underserved communities is a passion of ours at 34 Ways. And so we just find ways to collaborate and bring different organizations together that have resources that a lot of other organizations may not know about. So for us, it's about sharing, caring, and finding collaborative ways to, bring our network of former players, the wives, the business communities, all up under, a happy umbrella of sorts.
Yeah. Okay, so I love that, and I remember when Rachel talked about it. I got when you get the chills, and you were like, "Yes, that's amazing." So you guys come from an athletic background. Both of you guys are, the real deal. So when Rachel was also talking about her and the track and field and the coaching, I would love to hear about seeing your girls. And
we have one girl, 3 boys.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You got the 3 boys, right?
But Coach Rachel, that's the part that a lot of folks don't know. They don't know Coach Rachel.
Right.
They might know Rachel the wife, Rachel the entrepreneur, Rachel the president of the NFL Wife, Rachel the board member, Rachel the mother. It goes on and on, but it's one of those things that when it comes to coaching and her passion that she has for young youth, I tell her a lot of times she's brilliant in the corporate realm, but the impact that she has around young people and women is phenomenal. So, our kids, they get the two-edged sword of having a parent also as a coach. But for me, seeing my wife so engaged and indulged with our kids outside of the house is something that I tell her a lot of times that people do look to her and see like, hey, that's big sis really is holding it down. And I told her the role that she's playing for other wives, other couples. It is something to be commended. And so for me just to be here on a weekend where it's all about, the NFL and that's to mean the players. Once again, it's the things that the wives are doing. It's the programs that's happening behind the scene that really means so much to me personally. So,
But yeah, and I know Rachel, talked about it, and I have to say, not all the women that we had as the series went on, so we interviewed some really great women. And one of the things that I think society doesn't see is how supportive you guys as players and husbands are, and that it was literally so touching, one after another, just being like, my husband was there and supported me after he left his career. He was still there and wanting me to succeed. It was my turn to help. And as you guys helped each other through, can you take us through a little bit of that when you retired from the league?
well, just dealing with a lot, just emotionally, just the disconnect from, not having the camaraderie of the
Right.
game, dealing with, the multitude of, just injuries and, sometimes the depression of, used to being, just a part of this big purpose that a lot of times you miss so much time with your family and a lot of those bonding moments because as professional athletes you spend so much time engaged in the profession. And
Right.
so a lot of times people don't realize how much is sacrificed, not only physically but emotionally. And I think the aspect where the mental health now is something that's it's serious. They don't realize how many players go through hard, difficult times and feel as though they don't have a place to talk about those things. And a lot of former players, we're dying earlier. We're constant in struggles in reference with the lead, in reference to the benefits. And I'm just one to say that, the lead is a great lead and provided great opportunity. But there's always more work to do.
Yep.
And I always advocate for former players around health benefits, lifetime health benefits. Is really something that I advocate for just because we understand that without that infrastructure and the mental capacity and the health well-being around it for a lot of players, folks just don't realize, just the different facets involved with when you transition away from the NFL.
Well, but here's the thing. This is one of the things that I wanted to really talk passionately about. And it was, I'm a woman and I was in a transitional time in my life. So that's why really my podcast came about. But really, if we stop and think, it doesn't matter how level-headed you are. You have been playing, and I'm not talking about just you, but a professional athlete has been playing that sport since they were young. And that's their whole life. And then to be it taken away because either injury, age, whatever you're that is going to do something mentally, and it doesn't matter how strong the person is. We need to, as a society, think about that and think, oh, I feel badly, I feel badly for it. Not feel bad in a bad way, but in a really let's be sympathetic to this. Let's think about this.
Well, it's a twofold side to it. When it comes to the economics and the monopoly, you see the FanDuel now. You've seen all of, with the DraftKings, and more people are getting engaged. It started out with just, the office games, and now
Right.
it's full blown. Back in the day, gambling and sports never went together. And now you see in a short period of time, it's like one couldn't, exist without the other.
Right.
So I always tell and challenge folks, the greatest thing about sports is what it does in reference to bringing people together.
Yes.
The game is just a formality, but what happens around the games, those special moments that family, spend with one another, sharing those great moments. And being a Super Bowl champ myself,
Yes.
being a part of that Who Dat Nation, it's special. And so it's a big weekend. We got two great teams here in LA, peers on both sides. So it's one of those things that football, the game in itself, is so recognized, but the true backdrop to it, folks really look forward to any time they have an opportunity to be around friends, family, and just having a good time. So
and I love that you talk about the sports. I played 2 sports in college, so like I love that team, that, as you said, the energy. So thank you so much for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. Shout out to charity.
I told Tracy I would not leave out of here without giving a shout out to the Thread. 34 ways. I mean, we're family based. We're about helping and working in the community, but it's about the collaborative effort, and we just want to thank Thread and Off the Field for all the awesome things that you guys are continuing to do. Big blessings here in 2022.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm going to do this, and see you at the fashion show tomorrow.
Peace out.
Thank you, Michael. Guys, YNS Thread. Now I can't even speak. YNS Live with NFL Thread. Rachel, you got to come back because our video in the beginning was bad. So I'm going to have Rachel come back, who is Michael's wife. And give me 1 second. Rachel's going to come on, and then you can jump. In the beginning, the feed was bad because when they first started. So do you care coming back?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So, guys, Rachel Mckenzie, you just saw her wonderful husband. And we're going to pull that up a little bit. So, president of Off the Field.
Yes.
And you guys, you know that we had Rachel on for the amazing YNS Live NFL Thread on Fireside when we were not all together. But her story, and as you just heard Michael said, I mean, you could hear how supportive and how in love you guys are.
Yes, my number one cheerleader. Yes.
Amazing. And
absolutely.
As I said to him, a lot of the women that I had on throughout the series that we've been doing, it always comes back. You guys all have very supportive husbands.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I'm not even going to just say endearing, but to say the least, it's you almost cannot move forward or progress without it. Your husband has to be the very first person behind everything that you do. I mean, not even just from a financial standpoint, but literally that person that keeps you grounded and that supports your ideas and knows what your vision is. And that person that also holds you accountable. To me, my husband, and I say it all the time, he's the very first person to hold me accountable, for my actions, because he knows what it is that I want to achieve. And he knows the strategic plan, behind the vision. So a lot of times we don't have someone that, that will do that. We will lean on a girlfriend, but at the end of the day, it's way more sweeter, if it's your husband, and you don't want to be disappointing to him. You definitely want to show him that I'm everything you dreamed of.
Right. And I love that. But the other thing is having that partner that also, talk about a little bit, I know we've done this, but talk about a little bit of what you do, because that's what's so important, to have that partner that also can lift you up and take times like, okay, you need to be here, I got the family. You need to be there, I got the family. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing as well.
Absolutely. So he is what I call Mr. Mom, because we have a 4-year-old. And in order for me to be able to come home, not come home, but the kids come home from school, and once we go through homework, he's the person that actually goes through homework, because when they get home from school, I'm still trying to wrap up things with business, whether it's payroll, for the businesses, or even still with my own day-to-day jobs or what have you. But he's the one that stays home with the 4-year-old, and make sure that the 4-year-old is well taken care of. He also spends time with him as well, educating him, reading and writing, arithmetic, if you will. But he's also the one that will tell me, like, hey, step back, you're being too tough, because he knows that for me personally, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that I'm their mother. And once they grow older, I never want the relationship to become a situation where it's too tough. Mom was always hard. I can't go to mom. I'm just going to go to dad, So he'll tell me, okay, mom, just back off. You don't have to be the overachiever when it comes to the household. But nevertheless, Of course, like I said, he's Mr. Mom, but for me on a day-to-day basis, just trying to stay in front of everything from a business standpoint. And of course, I do have a support team that's behind me that's helping me out
Right.
day to day. But of course, the team has to be managed and led directly to the vision that you want
Right.
to be able to achieve.
Right. I love that. Okay, tell everyone where they can find you because I know you want to go and enjoy Michael right now.
Yes,
tell
absolutely.
everyone where they can find you.
So on Instagram, I'm Rachel Mckenzie 34, and I'm Rachel Mckenzie on Twitter, and I think it's _ Rachel Mckenzie on Facebook.
On Facebook. Okay, perfect. And Rachel is the president of Off the Field. So we will be seeing you guys tomorrow on the
Yes.
red carpet and for this wonderful event that's happening tomorrow.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Tomorrow is going to be so exciting, electrifying.
Yes.
It's an opportunity for us wives. We have a really good time behind the scenes, believe it or not. I mean,
Yes.
we have a really good time. But it's our time to basically give back and to shower into the community. So we have a great opportunity every year for Super Bowl to give back in that particular community. And we choose a donor to give back. And this year it's going to be Holly Rod's Foundation. So we're excited about that. And on Saturday, we will be touring at the Holly Rod Foundation's Institute. So we're excited
RJ's
about
Place.
RJ's
Yes.
Place.
Yes.
Yes. So we're excited to see RJ's Place. But yes, tomorrow is going to be very, very sweet.
I know. I'm so excited. Well, I'm so happy that you're a part of this. Guys,
Thank you
for joining again YNS Live with NFL Thread, Rachel Mckenzie, and you just saw Michael. Beautiful people, beautiful family, and follow and support.
Thank you. And as we say in New Orleans, laissez les bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll.
Woohoo! I love it. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Ventura.
you.
Thank you. So what time is it? Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. My partner.
I'm so excited.
Yes, my partner. Okay, so you got to get this closer to your mouth. Now this is a different. So Cynthia Zordich, who, look at this, who's just been running this event, amazing event.
It's having so much fun.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, I know what went into this from just 2 days, but give us a little background.
Well, today was so special for me because it was just bringing everybody that I love together and promoting everybody's business, promoting the playbook, which was like a part of my heart.
Yes.
And the fact that we've done it now 4 years, it's volume 4, the fact that it's the boss issue, that Michael Strahan is on the cover, talking about Smack Entertainment, the fact that Takori is like our sponsor, and like what they're doing today, for instance, everybody that was here, it's like $1,000 off of any $2,000 purchase.
Oh my God,
but if
that's
anybody
amazing.
wanted to spend like $5,000, it would be off of that. So everybody's freaking out over that.
Oh my gosh.
We were talking about engagement rings, my son in particular. But even like Wally being here from UBS, who they were the very first people that ever believed in the playbook and believed in me and backed me and supported the playbook. So they were volume 1.
I love
and so
that.
for Wale to be a former player, to be a head of sports and entertainment, to come here today, to talk to his friends and peers and spouses. And the reason that there are spouses here today is because Michael, Mckenzie, he was like, Rachel, what do you mean you're going to a luncheon and I'm not invited? Why can't the guys go? Why is it just got to be the girls? And so I was like, Rachel, tell Michael to come. And so after Michael, I'm like, all the guys can come if they want to come. So for me today is about what are you doing? How can we shine the light on what you're doing? And what you offer to my friends and like my off the field friends, my NFL alumni friends, my UBS friends, to Corey, the voice. Here you are, you're written about, you're seen, you're connecting, but what is your story? And why are you here? I remember coming up with this slogan once. I think it was like volume 2 of the playbook, and it said, there's so much for a girl to do at the Super Bowl.
I love that.
And I remember that. And we went to one of our events where it was an award ceremony, and one of the girls picked up on that, and we were chanting it because it was
I love that.
because we were giggling because not a lot of people realize that we come to the Super Bowl and there's so much. And this off the field fashion show tomorrow. Today's luncheon thread, great.
Yes.
Today was so great.
Right.
Today was so awesome for everybody to talk about why they're here and what they do. And tomorrow is like what we do, and which is we raise money as off the field members, and we're going to be raising money for the Holly Rod Foundation, which is Holly Pete and Rodney Pete, which Michael, my husband, played with them with Rodney in Philadelphia, so
Right,
they're like
so-
family to me.
And they can watch we did a whole episode.
Oh yeah, with oh my God, with Holly, that was so funny, wasn't
So
it?
fun, yeah.
She was so great, and she was so great too with Cookie. Like that was so hilarious
fun, so
to
they
watch
can watch
those
the
two go
replay
at
of
it.
that, yes.
And I really related to that too because not only that, but today I have all my best friends from 2nd grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, 5 of them:
Yes.
Kathy, Jackie, Carol, Red. They're here to help me, and they're doing registration. They know everybody like anybody because they've been here for me.
Right.
So, but like tomorrow is about raising money, and we're going to do that, and that's what we do at the Super Bowl. We do so many things. So many former players, so many of their wives come to the Super Bowl, and they impact the cities where the Super Bowl is. But like nobody ever knows about it, and that's why I'm so glad you're here.
That's
You're
yes.
here. Like to tell that story,
Right.
Like you're my little radio row,
which we will be next year. We will be on that radio
I was always
row.
saying that. I'm like at Radio Row. I'm like, where's the women? Why are the women just walking next to the guys, talking about? They're listening to the guys talk about why they're at the Super Bowl. Ask the women why they're at the
Why
Super Bowl.
are they? Yeah.
And so you're our little mini radio row,
Which is amazing. No,
I know.
So I mean, that's the camera we're looking at.
Okay.
So we're Cindy's over there. I keep looking at that one.
Oh yeah, I don't even know about cameras. I'm just talking to Juliet.
That's so funny because I do keep looking at that one. You guys keep pointing me over there.
I'm so sorry, but I don't. To look at the camera to say like to anybody at home, it's like tomorrow our fashion show. You can go to offthefieldpwa.org, and there's all this opportunity to, even though if you're not there, you can be there.
They can do the text.
You can do the text to give,
Text
and
to
then
give.
of course follow Juliet all day. You can be there. You're going to be there.
We're going to be on the red carpet.
Yeah. Oh God. God bless you.
We're going to be on the red carpet. Yeah.
Right. You're going to be on the red carpet.
Well, right. But Cindy will be there a little bit.
I'm like the behind the scenes girl. But today was great. Look, there's Crystal David.
Yes,
we all just want to stare
Crystal,
at her.
you got to get on.
Yeah, she's getting on. No. Crystal is on. But Crystal David.
What time is it though?
No, we have to get Crystal on because it would be an injustice to everybody in the world that wants to see Crystal.
Literally, we'll cut it though.
She's so beautiful. Okay. We stare at Crystal, and she's our takeover today. But she has her playbook.
Yeah, so that's
so I'm gonna get off.
Need to come on and talk about
I'm going to get off right now so you can talk about Crystal and see Crystal.
Right.
So bye, everybody.
Yeah, so Crystal, you got to get... And we have like 5 minutes, and but we
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Every time I looked, there was a line, so I was like, I'll come back. I should have used my teaching of first of the night.
Right. Oh my gosh. So you guys all know that Crystal has been on the podcast, and you have so many amazing things that you're doing. But I want you to talk about her playbook.
Yeah. It's. I feel like it's more alive today being here in person with all these incredible women, and because it's like we're breathing what we stand for, right? It's like happening in real life. And so sometimes when you're on a podcast or in a program, it's like you're talking about creating a program for incredible women to do incredible things, and we're doing it here. So this has been really cool. But her playbook, I created it because I wanted something that I wish I had when my husband played in the league. And so being here, I've just been so inspired and grateful that I tapped in when I did. But I want to help women to get their confidence up, to learn how to communicate, to learn how to connect when they're in the season of their man being in the league, versus waiting and feeling like, oh, I don't know. Like I was so insecure, I was so inadequate, I didn't have worthiness, and I just fell back to the shadows, And so I want to help women like, no, you have all the opportunity in front of you to do the homemaking and build your dreams if that's what you desire.
Right. So we'll tell people where they can find you, because you do a lot of amazing things. You're doing seminars and workshops, and you have, right?
Yeah. My biggest baby is the play retreat. So I do like a play, it's virtual now, but now that we're back in the streets, I'm going to bring it back to in person. But it's just a way to bring women in person and do the deep work that helps you to stand in your power, bring your confidence. So I'm on Instagram. That's where I live, Crystal C. David. And everything is there, all my links. I have her playbook, the podcast, her playbook, the program. And then I'm working on some really fun things that are going to start coming out soon here. So it's definitely a good time to tap in, follow, connect, and thank you guys for being such an advocate of what I'm up to, because I'm a big fan of what you guys are up to. And
I so
honored
appreciate it
to be a part of it.
Yes, and you guys know where you can follow Crystal. Tell them again where they can follow you.
Yeah, Crystal C. David, and on Instagram, and then everything else is there.
Yes, and you know what? And listen to Crystal's whole episode. You can go to Your Next Stop, and you can listen to her whole story, because it is an amazing one. Like, I remember I got chills, my mouth dropped. I was like, I think we need to have you on
laughing,
again.
crying,
it was incredible.
Yeah, I'm all about being honest, because I wish I knew what I know now, and so I was that crazy girl that was jealous, insecure, toxic, and I wish I had channeled that energy into creating what I'm now creating 12 years post the league life. So if women are in it now, it's like, sis, you're focusing your energy in all the wrong places. So thank you for...
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining. Yes, thank you so much.
Love
guys,
you guys.
Follow YNS Live for more updates on Crystal as well, because she'll be back talking about what she's doing as everything unfolds. Yes, so thank you. Thank you. Okay, and Cynthia, and then we got to cut it. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my God, no, please. Okay.
But she said,
you got to talk to them. You got to talk to these guys. Okay. Hi, welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
I love your glasses. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. Okay, you're going to move just a little closer to you.
All right.
I would love you to introduce, and that's your camera. Introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, my name is Pamela Dudley Reynolds. I am here representing the Professional Football Players Mothers Association, aka known as PFMA.
I love that. Okay, so obviously you're a mother.
Yes.
So how did you get involved in that, other than you're a mother? But how did you learn about it and hear about it? Also tell about your child that.
My eldest son, named Ed Reynolds II, entered into draft in 2014. He attended the Rookie Symposium that year, and one of the moms that were present there shared a business card from the organization. So he came home and he shared it with me. I'm like, I've never heard of such for the NFL moms.
Right.
And of course, me, I'm a go-getter. I want to be involved. And from there, here I am now on the board of directors for the organization. And actually here on behalf of our Madam President, who is Gwendolyn V. Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins of the Saints mom. And we have a wonderful board. And but yeah, it's all about networking with moms and giving them that resource.
And I think this is the thing. This is why I love this luncheon and being a part. I mean, having the podcast here is there's so many things that you guys are doing within the league that people like myself, who's not in the league, don't know. And it's really important that the community understands you guys are very tight knit and you really support each other and you really help each other as organizations within the league. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love it. This past year, we had the organization, PFMA has a new board. And in that, we took an understanding that it's a collaboration of not only the NFL, but Cynthia Zordick with the NFL Thread, pulling together Off the Field Player Wives Association, and of course, Mom. Right. Because understandably, all of our players don't have a wife. Yes.
Right. There's some young ones,
there is that significance of how can our organization still provide that connection and provide that resource. So we are very thankful for Cynthia and what her program is doing, her platform, to bring all those organizations together.
Right. I love that. So tell people where they can find you.
Okay. Well, you can go to pfma.org.
And spell that.
It's just pfpma.org. And once again, the name of the organization is oh my goodness. Professional Football Players Mothers Association.
It's been a long day.
I know.
It's been a long day and a long talk, so don't even worry about it. Thank you so much for
you.
joining YNS Live with NFL Thread and doing what you're doing for the organization and the mothers out there. So any mother that's listening to this, you guys might be tuning in and not realizing that there's an organization to help you get through. And that's what's really important about why we're broadcasting live, why we're doing things, because it's getting those words out. So thank you for joining.
Sharing experience. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Woo! All right.
Yes, thank you. I'm okay. Yeah, what are you on Cynthia's list?
I think she told me to come by.
Yeah,
so I'm
okay.
with UBS.
Yeah, okay. Not that I was going to tell you.
You're gonna kick me off. It's like, you know what? And it's like, you know what, Dad? We like you, but we don't like you that much, right? That's how it works.
No, totally. I'm so sorry. But all of a sudden, they were like, we have 3 more. And so I was like, well, I just want to make sure. But
Yeah. No.
Okay, so welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread. I love that we're having a mix of women and men, because I do have men on my podcast, even though everyone thinks it's all about women. When I started my podcast, it was in a time in my life as a mother, and my kids were getting older, that I needed more, and I wanted to do something, so I started a podcast. I didn't know how to do it, but I was like, I'm going to share stories. And so I was interviewing women that were in a very similar part as me, and then as it's grown, I've taken, because I have a husband and 2 boys. I have a daughter, but boys, and I adore them as well. And it's important that everyone's story is heard, and everyone has a platform that they can share their story. So tell us why you are here, and first introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Ronnie Brown. I actually played with the Miami Dolphins. I was drafted to the Miami Dolphins in 2005 as the second pick of the overall draft. But then just realizing after a 10-year career, making the transition, sharing the message, I've transitioned into wealth management, into finance, and just kind of sharing the message for me, my personal story, but also the reality of, one, as women, you guys are the backbone for most of our success, but then also, as the front side of it, for a lot of guys to understand that there is something that happens, post-career. And, football, unfortunately, because it's not guaranteed money, it's not a career. It's an opportunity for a successful transition into actually the thing that you prefer to do. And trying to just kind of share that message, but also just the financial literacy piece of it, understanding, how to build and generate wealth. It's a really big part of, what we do as a group, but, the initiative of who we are at UBS, at our company.
No, and I love that. So I do want to take it back for a second and have you, can you share a little bit of your story? I know we don't have a ton of time, but I would love for you to share a little bit of your story. So I am all about storytelling, and we all have moments in our life that really shape us. And sometimes not everyone realizes those moments that kind of get you to the path that you're in. And one of the things that I talk about all the time on this podcast is we all have a path, whether you believe in God or the universe, we all have a path. So your football career might have been there for a reason to catapult you into what you're doing now. And so that's what's really cool about stories and life. So give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I grew up in a small town in northwest Georgia, a little town called Cartersville, Georgia. Went to Auburn University, was there from 2000 to 2004. And just going through that as an athlete, understanding that, this may be a thing that happens post-career. I get an opportunity to play professional, but if not, then what? And so, the question was, I was a guy that came in my freshman year, redshirted, and then the next year we had another high-quality guy come in. He had all the accolades, and so then I wasn't a starter. And so my question to myself was, if I don't have the opportunity, then what? And so I was a communications graduate, thinking I would pursue a career in broadcasting or something, because that was familiar territory. It's easy to stay in that thing that you're most comfortable with. For me, it was sports, and so being able to do that, and then I was able to have a career in professional sports. But then quickly realizing, like, I wish because my goal was to do something business related, but because my focus was football and trying to figure out how to get on the field, I was kind of, discouraged about doing that. And so being able to have the career on the football side of it, I was also open and awakened to the fact that, this isn't something that's established as a career. Like, what am I going to do? And talking to most guys, if you have a successful career, I was fortunate and blessed to play 10 years, but at the same time, I retired at 33 years old. And so then the question was, well, what now? Like, what are you going to do with this opportunity? And so being able to successfully transition that into something else that I'm passionate about. For me, it was the financial literacy piece, because I realized that was one of the things that I hadn't realized, early on. That was something that I wasn't proficient in. And so being able to share that knowledge, education, information with the younger generation, that's a huge part of it. And so I'm willing to share that, because, our information, our education is only as good as our willingness to share that with other people. And so, I wanted to do that, and this was a great way to do it.
Well, and the thing that I love that you said, first of all, I was a communications major, that was what you were comfortable with. That was what you were good at. But you saw an opportunity to be able to help others. And because you had that in your career. So you're also more relatable. So you can go to a other player. You can say, listen, this is what happened to me. And it's all about your story, right? You telling them your story is going to make them be like, you know what, I'm comfortable. So, and in wealth management, there's, there is the kind of thought, you don't know if you trust someone in there, you're really trusting them with big stuff. But the fact that you have that background and so you really can relate to the community, I think is really important.
Yeah, and it's cool because, I think for athletes, it's cool to understand, don't be scared to evolve.
Yes.
Because we put ourselves in a box because a lot of people view us as an athlete and we're scared to try new things. And when you become so successful at one thing, one, people put you in the box, but then two, after you've become so successful, you're scared of failure.
Right.
And so, it's okay to fail your way to the top and try new things and figure out what am I good at outside of this thing that I love to do. And I think that's what happens to a lot of athletes.
So I mean, literally, we could talk for an hour.
Yeah.
But the thing that you just touched on, what do you think that was innate in you? Because I'm the same sort of way. Like, I'm not scared of failure. I'm dyslexic. So school, I just sucked. I played sports.
Right.
I played sports in college. That's what got me through. And that always, when I was younger and I realized communication was like what I was good at, I was like, okay, I know this is difficult, but I can do here. So the thing is, what do you think? Was that something that you taught yourself or you learned? Did that come from background or is that something that you were just born with?
Yeah, I think it was mostly my background. I grew up, obviously in a not advantageous position. And so, I developed the skill set of I'm not scared to try new things. And I'm a competitor. I'm going to compete in everything that I do. And so that competitive nature, I think that helped me along the way. I've never been, the highly regarded individual. I wasn't the starting running back at my college, my university. I was not the starting running back, just kind of share the backfield with other guys. And so, my goal was to always get people to understand you're not going to outwork me. You may be more talented, but you're not going to outwork
love
me.
that.
And so I've never been scared to, try new things and to evolve as a person. And I feel like, even here, like in the environment, it's like I approach people with everyone knows something that I don't know.
Right.
And I like having the conversation.
That's the stories and learning.
Right. And so then it's a conversation of, I want to understand your why. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
I would rather know why you do it.
Right.
And so that's the cool part about life as you go and meet a lot of people.
Totally. So I want you to tell everyone where they can find you because you're very comfortable and you really, what you can do and help people is
yeah. So I'm on social media, Ronnie23 Brown. And then also just, with my company, being in finance, you can look me up, but, it's just sharing those stories. And, I think we're all comfortable with certain things and having the conversation, and conversation cures, I think those hurdles and those walls, it's whether you're in a marriage or you're in business, if you're willing to communicate, I think that gives you an opportunity through conversation of growth and education, because we all, like I said, we can all learn something at some point.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. Hi. Oh my gosh. How are you? Look at this dress.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Oh my God. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself because I just love how, I want, and that's your camera right here.
Okay. All right. So I am Sharice Brown. I am one of the founders of Off the Field Players of NFL Wives Association, and I am the co-chair for this year's fashion show, our 21st annual fashion show.
And you guys know, you saw Sharice, she was on the podcast. She's always been on Fireside supporting us and being there in the audience. And all the stuff that you're doing with this, with this charity. Take us through a little bit because I know it's so much work.
It is. There's so many layers.
So many layers.
You say chair, but really you're an executive producer. And what you're doing is you're managing each and every component of it. Everything from sponsorship, even though we have our committees we have our committee heads, but for that chair, they have to check in with all those individuals all the time to make sure that you know what's happening and what's going on. So it's a lot. And I always tell you, I couldn't do it without, of course, all of the ladies in the organization. You can't do this alone. I don't know how one person would be able to handle this because you deal with sponsorship, you deal with models, you deal with the catering. You're dealing with the AV. You know, it's just so many layers. But
So many layers.
So awesome. It's such a labor of love for me. I am so honored to do it because once again, it's benefiting, of course, Holly Rod Foundation this year, but we're always supporting local and national charities, and that's what means the most to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So because I know when Cynthia and I touched on it, but if the people out there are listening, they want to be able to help and they want to be able to go and, and donate and stuff.
Yes.
Where they can do? I know there's a text.
You know, there's going to be a text to give.
And that's on your, tell them we're on your
and
Instagram.
That's on our Off the Field NFL Wives Instagram and Facebook, you know, so we'll make sure that you guys are putting that out there because tomorrow is the fashion show and we would love your support. And remember, it is benefiting Holly Rod Foundation, which is supporting autism and Parkinson's and, you know, bringing more awareness and bringing, you know, money to continue, you know, I think we were talking about it. I think Holly may have mentioned it. Is it 1 out of every 400 children that are being born with autism?
Yes.
I think that was the number. And I was so shocked to hear that.
Yes. And the fact that they're bringing light and talking about it and really helping. And when you're in a position as Holly and Rodney, it's good to hear from of other people because people will relate.
Of course. Very, very much so because it's so, of course, personal and near to them. I have several girlfriends who have autistic children and I just love how they're so dedicated to making sure that they know how loved they are and how much they can do whatever they want to do, you know.
Yes.
And now there's places like RJ's Place that assists as they're developing, assisting them in learning how to interview, how to write a resume or, you know, preparing them for life.
Right.
And
which is beautiful.
Which is beautiful. Which is so beautiful.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
That you guys can do that this year.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to tell everyone where they can also find you.
Oh my gosh. So I'm at Shea Brown 81 on Instagram and would love to hear from you in regards to assisting with our fashion show will be in Arizona next year.
Yes, we got to start talking about that, right?
It's in Arizona next year and we're excited, you know, to be at the Scottsdale Fashion Square but once again we will choose a national and a local charity that will need your support.
And follow because you guys you'll hear when it is and you'll be able to do
definitely. We'll get all that information out.
Sharice, thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're so welcome,
and so wonderful
Julie.
to meet you.
Thank you. In person. Yes.
In person.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes, you
good
will.
Luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Alrighty.
Oh my gosh.
Bye-bye. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Where am I looking?
Looking at me?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh my God, thank you. This is so awkward. Did you get it? Okay. Oh, Lord.
My God, we're just staring at each other.
1, 2, 3. Did you get it from the front? Now get us. Okay. I think someone told her, get a picture.
Right. That's all right.
We're on.
Yeah, go ahead.
But go ahead. Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
So
you guys.
So thank you guys for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. This has been sponsored by Shutterstock Editorial. Wherever you go, Shutterstock is there to capture it. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can take a picture.
I didn't get one when I was here.
Yeah, please.
I think this was awesome. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, please.
Are you done or are we?
We are done, but.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Oh
my God, it was
great.
wonderful talking with you. Okay. No, Candace did not go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
No, it's okay. I mean, these guys have to wrap up.
It's like 2 minutes because I have to go. We have to go.
Okay.
This color is really pretty.
Oh my God, please. Yeah, no, but you no, I'm not. I'm concerned with these guys. They've been here for so long. No, but no. Candace, you're next. Sit down. And I'm yelling in the microphone like, now I'm yelling at you. Go sit. Yes. Okay, ready?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we are here with YNS Live with NFL Thread. I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lacey Leonard. I am a relationship and empowerment coach, and then I own a behavioral health outpatient facility in Arizona.
So I know Cynthia said that we had to talk. I know that
Yes.
so I'm so glad. I know we're wrapping up, guys, but please tell us what you do and why are you here and what brings you.
So I'm also a member of Off the Field. So
yep, I'm going to bring that closer to you.
I love Cynthia. I love Off the Field. I love the sisterhood that it embodies. But I'm also the president and founder of Tackle Health. My husband and I own a behavioral health outpatient facility.
Amazing.
Where we provide individual group counseling to not only retired athletes, but also student athletes, collegiate athletes, and just really anybody that might be dealing with any type of mental health issues. So it was important for me to just be here as a mental health advocate. I'm also a social justice advocate. I talk very passionately about just wanting the social justice and equality for the players that have not received their NFL concussion settlement, due to the race storming, and just really just being, a bridge to kind of, gap those differences. And so I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to really just experience being around all my sisters throughout the NFL.
Sure, yes.
And so I just want to say.
Well, please tell everyone, and that's your camera there, tell everyone where they can find you.
You guys can find me at laceyleonard.com. And also www.tacklehealth.org. We are very diligent about wanting to provide the resources. We have an amazing clinical practice. Our licensed therapist has worked with the Phoenix Suns for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
We have some amazing therapists on staff. And really, we just want to be able to service our NFL and former players and families. So
that's amazing. Well, thank you for being
here. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. And I feel so the gentleman back there, I know he wanted to come on, so tell him so he can come after Candace.
Okay.
Candace, you're up. Where are you? You please sit down. Okay, so we have
get my angles right.
I know my angles are all wrong. So I want you guys. I'm going to have Candace introduce herself and tell a little bit of why she's here. But this is YNS Live with NFL Thread. Yes, I'm going to put that closer to you here.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Should
yeah,
I
and
be
that's
looking at your camera?
That's your camera right there.
That's my guy.
That's your
Hi,
guy.
Okay, so yes, my name is Candace Campbell. And why am I here? Let's answer that question. I am a member of Thread. I'm a member of Off the Field NFL Wives Association.
Yes,
now.
I love
Change
that.
the name, right? I'm always here to support Cindy and Thread and just the community of women, period. Women supporting women.
Yes,
There's a lot
love
of boss women here. So this is the boss issue, right?
Yes.
Of, the NFL playbook.
Yes.
So I'm definitely excited about that. In sunny, beautiful Santa Monica.
Right. I know.
Right?
Crazy, right?
So just a little bit about myself.
Please.
I do so much. I think we all do.
I know. That's what's beautiful about it.
We do, but what sort of started with this, I love to cook, right?
Okay.
So I'm like resident chef. And here, I do a lot of the seasonings is what I brought as like an actual gift. Yes, my
so
Boss
cool.
Bird seasoning. It's like poultry seasoning. And so everybody always asks me to do like these hot wings. And I was like, okay, I'll do some hot wings, blood orange wings, whatever kind of garlic wings, garlic parmesan. So people always ask me like, what do you do? How do you start your wings? I was like, I got a base that I, do.
Oh, I love it. So you share
Right,
it with the women.
and so I'm sharing it. So Cindy, she said, you need to add something to the swag bag. So I said, okay. I think this year instead of truffles, I did chocolate truffles, I think the year before last. I said, okay, I'll just do my Boss Bird seasoning.
Oh,
so
I
I'll
love
send it
that.
on. But yeah, you can, I don't have it online through the Instagram just yet.
Yes.
But my Instagram is Candy Bar Co. So it's KandiBarco. But it will be there.
Oh my gosh, please.
So I'm just trying it out here with you guys.
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you my card because I want you to definitely keep me in the loop as that goes.
Juliet,
Please. Yes,
You and me
please.
in the kitchen, girl. We
Yeah.
can do it.
Oh, no, I'm bad in the kitchen.
No, you're not. I got you.
Oh, I'm terrible. Oh, my husband's a cook. Oh, I hate cooking.
Oh my God, do you?
I do.
No, you don't.
Oh, no, I do.
Stop
and I'm
it.
terrible at it, but I'm okay with being terrible at it. Like, I don't like it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
Do you try anything?
I'm really good at breakfast foods. No, I actually, when my husband worked outside the home, he would, when he would come home, because I'd be like, I gotta cook. I mean, I have kids and stuff.
Right, yeah. That's true.
And I'm very healthy, so it would always taste just not a lot of great. And it would always be called like chicken surprise. It was always whatever vegetable was there and whatever like dressing or sauce.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, honey, that doesn't go."
Well, you know,
but he
you
would be like,
tried.
"Thank you."
You tried.
But now that because of COVID, he's been home, and so the kids, everyone's so happy.
Oh.
But every time we're like, "Dad's gonna have to go back into an office," and it's me again. They're like, "Oh." But our middle son cooks. He's really good.
No, he doesn't.
And he
How
really
old is
likes
he?
it. He's 14.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
I keep telling him, I'm like, well, if you don't like my food, you're gonna
do
you
it
do yourself.
do it yourself. I work with my son like that. Aiden, he's 11,
Oh, I
and
love
his
that.
dad, Daryl's good. He's gotten better. He's got eggs, right?
So I'm really good at eggs.
He's so good at eggs. Okay, he's got spaghetti down.
Okay, yeah,
it's a
I
bit
can
of
do
a
spaghetti.
science
Yes.
now, so I can trust him with that.
Right.
Anything outside of spaghetti,
Right.
Eggs. Let's just leave it to mom. Right?
My
I've
gosh.
got it.
I love
but,
that.
But Aiden will go and he'll make a sandwich. He'll make his own little pizzas. I sort of
which is
just kind of
good.
leave it eye level, and
Yes.
he knows how to go kind of blend it. We just stay away from the stove, so he's got to go get an adult for that.
That's
But
fine.
yeah.
Well,
mom's
tell
gotta
people
do
again
that.
where they can find you.
Yes, so definitely find me at Candy Bar Co. So on Instagram, so KandiBarco.
Okay, well, and I maybe need your seasoning.
And now you need my Boss Bird.
Yes.
Seasoning,
oh my God.
right?
Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining YNS
Absolutely.
Live.
I love
oh my God.
you.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm going to give you a hug.
No, it's fine. We got half a hug.
Have a hit each other. Thank you. I know. Thank you for joining. Oh my God.
problem.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh God, you will.
I will.
At the fashion show.
I'll see you
I'll be
tomorrow.
working
We'll all be. Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be there.
Again, I'll see you, Juliet.
Okay.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, you can jump because I know you've been very patient. Oh, did he butt from? No, let him just introduce because he actually has been asking. And then I will. I promise. Are you guys okay? Are you sure? Okay. Because I know, and then I felt bad.
So I work with Ronnie Brown.
Okay, so that's awesome. So introduce yourself.
Mark Eisenberg. I'm with UBS. I wrote a book on the business of being a pro athlete.
Tell us what that book is called.
Really just trying to sort of pull the curtains back on this industry and explain how being a pro athlete works. The business side, agents, financial advisors, helping with the career transitions.
Amazing. Okay, so where can they find you? Where can they learn about this?
I mean, on Twitter, there's this thing. At Mark Eisenberg. I got to spell it because it's Mark with a C. Eisenberg.
It's Mark with a C.
There you go. And Eisenberg with an I.
Okay.
I write articles. I have a podcast on economic justice and really trying to focus on player empowerment.
So I think what's going to happen is we should do a longer episode on Fireside, and then,
absolutely.
And as we end here, we'll definitely connect, and like in the next couple of months, we'll
That sounds
make
awesome.
stuff because I want to hear more about your podcast
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. All right, well, very nice meeting you,
meet
Mark
you.
with a C.
There you go. And Eisenberg with an I.
Yeah, and Eisenberg with an I.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Yes, of course. And then Caroline, you got to go too afterwards, okay? Hi, we finally get to meet. Well, how are you? I want you to introduce yourself.
I am looking at you, or
So here's your you can look right at that camera. Yep. But then you can also, when we have a conversation, but introduce yourself there.
Sandra Williams, wife of Trent Williams, 49ers.
Love it. My maiden name was Williams.
Lovely.
Yes,
Love
yes.
it.
Okay, so give us. Obviously here because you're part of Thread.
Yes.
And what else? Like, what are you doing tomorrow? Give us a scoop.
I'm a member of Off the Field Wives. Tomorrow I'll be doing the fashion show, which I'm excited about. It's always a good time. I love Super Bowl weekend. I love the festivities we have with Thread and Off the Field. It's an amazing organization, bringing women together, networking, all those wonderful things. So I'm also a yoga instructor.
I love that.
And I am expecting right now. So looking more on the prenatal side of yoga now.
And what made you fall into the yoga?
Oh gosh, I've done yoga off and on for a few years, but 2 years ago, so stressed and just didn't know how to just find that balance and that clarity. And I started taking yoga classes with Lifetime, and it was I was rushing off, running out of the house to get to yoga.
Yes.
And felt my relief there, and did the teacher training for 200 hours, and it was such an incredible experience.
Amazing. So now, is this your first?
This is my third. So
Your
I
third,
have
okay.
two daughters now, and
Okay.
I'm hoping for a baby boy.
So I have 2 boys, and then I had a girl.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So
Different balance. So how is it with...
I found going from 1 to 2 harder than going from 2 to 3. But my second, who's like the easiest human now, was not the easiest. Like he needed to be on me at all times. So and my 2 were 23 months apart. So they that was a little hairy. But going from 2 to 3 was fine.
It's easy. Okay.
None of it's easy. But.
Yeah. Well, right now I feel like I'm starting over because my oldest is 12 and my youngest is 8.
Okay, so it's a large gap. They're going to be able to help. They're going to be. They probably are going to love it. They're going to be excited. I mean, who knows? Because my daughter probably would she'd be like, great. Yeah. But not all kids do love having that younger sibling. But that age, they probably will.
They're excited. So I'm looking forward to watching them nurture.
Oh my God!
So
When are you due?
July 27th. So
okay. Yes. Okay. So tell people where they can find you, so they can find out what you're having and all that fun stuff.
Okay, I am Yogini SDWW on Instagram, same on Twitter, and that's YOGINI SDWW, and on Facebook I'm Sandra Williams.
Wonderful. I was going to say definitely spell it. Well, Sandra, I'm so glad because I know that we were hoping to get you on, and I didn't see you, and then I'm just so glad that you're here.
Well,
I'll
thank
see
you
tomorrow
so
too.
much. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for
gorgeous, by
joining.
the way.
Thank you. Thank you for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. Guys, I think this is a wrap. I don't know where Caroline went, but this was wonderful. I'm so happy to have you guys and being a part of this amazing event where we're highlighting people, we're talking to people, we're learning about what people are doing in the world. So many people are following their passions. So many people have stories, and it's just really cool to be able to be in this environment sharing them. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, Julie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. All right. I don't know where Caroline went. Yeah, I think she went to the bathroom. I just want to make sure I have her on. I didn't realize. Do you want to jump on? Yeah, but don't worry. Oh, you want my card? Yeah, of course. Oh my God, thank you so much. Yes. Oh yeah, please. Oh my God, you're wonderful. Thank you, and I love that outfit. I think she went to the bathroom. All right, are we still? Is it muted? Or are we good? We're still talking. Oh, I'm still talking. Well, hello, I'm still here. No worries. So we're waiting for Caroline, who had the pop-up shop, Zoe Hoop Jewelry, which my amazing earrings are from. And we're going to have her come on. She's all the way from Sweden, which is amazing. She's had the shop. People have been shopping and popping. And we're coming to the end here. But what a wonderful day, YNS Live with NFL Thread. Shutterstock is our sponsor. YNS Live with NFL Thread is sponsored by Shutterstock Editorial. Wherever you go, Shutterstock is there to capture it, which is really amazing. And MRN Agency, who is these guys are standing here behind the whole time listening to all of these. I'm sure they're exhausted and ready to go home. And they will be with us tomorrow. So if you guys have not gotten Fireside, go get Fireside, because that's where we're going to be broadcasting live from the fashion show, which is at Santa Monica Place. There's a red carpet, and we are going to be, it's going to be a fun one, but it is, all the proceeds are going to, I shouldn't say all, a lot of the proceeds are going to Holly Rod, which is Holly Robinson Pete's Foundation. And it's a special event, special, what these women are doing, and how their husbands are here to support them, how UBS is there to support them. And, we're just excited for Caroline, who is coming on. And what a long day. I think I've had a shake and a bunch of water, and I'm still standing, and not even a cocktail. Now, all of you guys are watching that know I like my cocktails. Haven't even had a cocktail, which I don't even know if I will tonight, because tomorrow is going to be a very long day. It's going to be fun, but apparently who is going to be on the red carpet? I've heard a little snippets of it, and you are not going to want to miss it. And I cannot believe I'm going to be interviewing them. So thank you guys for joining Fireside. Don't forget to go to my Instagram. I am Juliette Hahn, and you can download that. That is linked in my bio. You can also go to the App Store, and you can download it. It is Fireside, which is Mark Cuban and Fallon Fatim's app. We are streaming through YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Twitch. And we are She's coming. Okay, great. And because I'm can continue to babble. I can tell you, I usually talk about like, I've had this. You guys also know that I always talk about where I've met people. And through this experience, I've met so many great people that I know they're going to come on and talk about their stories a little bit longer once we get back to New York. And we'll still have this where Cynthia will be there. And we will talk to some more of these people, finding out a little bit more about their story, a little bit longer about their story. And give you a little background on Caroline. She came from Sweden, but you can go, her episode is 118. So if you go to Your Next Stop podcast, you will be able to see it there. It's her entire story of how she founded Zoe Hoop Jewelry. She's going to give you a little snippet of that and also tell you about the experience that she just had here at the pop-up shop. She is from Sweden. She flew all the way from Sweden. And here she is. Oh my goodness. And you guys can see I'm wearing her earrings. I've talked about it a million times.
Hi.
So move in a little bit. Are you exhausted?
No, I'm not, but this is
amazing. I know. I kept saying to someone's going to get Caroline. I got to have her on. Yeah. So I sent them also to your episode, which is 118 on Your Next Stop. But give everyone a little bit. First, tell them a snippet of your story. I know you told the group here your story, and they can hear the whole story again on episode 118. But a little bit about that, and then I want to hear how your experience was here.
Okay. Well, I was in marketing, but I was traveling to Asia, and my heart was really broken for the situation of the people there. And I thought, what if I could be an entrepreneur, and if I could help those people? And so then I went home, and it took a year, and I went to church. And one lady was praying for me, and she said, I think you should work with jewelry. And I was like, okay. I'd never thought of it myself, but if it's you, God, you have to say it again. And then 2 months later, I was at a conference, a Christian conference, and 2 men were praying for me. And one of them said, I think you should work with jewelry. And then it was clear to me that this must be God. So I just took the first steps, and I started my company. And it's been a long process. So I wrote down the UN Sustainable Development Goals in my business plan, and which made it really hard for me to find a supplier who could meet all my demands. Because I wanted to work with fair working conditions and wages,
which is so important.
Yeah, it is. And I also got 3 words, which was remind my people. So every piece of jewelry is a reminder of a Bible verse or a passage in the Bible, which is encouraging and uplifting. So my whole idea and the name is Zoe Hoop. Zoe means life in Greek. So it's life for both those who wear it and those who make it. So now I'm working with a family-based business in northern Thailand, which I found after years of searching. And they make these high quality pieces, and that's the start.
It's amazing. Let's also and tell people about. So I'm wearing Zoe's these earrings. You have the earrings, and then also like tell them a little bit about the necklace. So you're going to look here. Can you see her necklace?
Yeah. So
we're going to move that, or you move this way a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Shepherd's Cross, which is built on or inspired by Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. So it's a shepherd's cane and rod made to a loving cross. And this is also the ones that Vogue and Vanity Fair wanted to publish in their magazines this last year.
So tell them about, I finished.
Yeah, and this is the angel necklace, which is angel with his arms surrounding you. So it's like a guardian angel, and it's a warm embrace at the same time.
I love that. And so, when you started this, you felt, I think we talked about this, but you really felt like, okay, God spoke to me. This is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always easy.
No.
And you did it. So tell us about, first of all, you've been in Vogue. You were on the Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then in New York.
Yeah, both of them.
Yep. And then, so talk a little bit about that, but then also tell us about this experience here.
Yeah.
I think I Instagrammed you and I said, listen, I don't know if this is even possible, but we're doing this. We have an opportunity for a pop-up shop. You know, with COVID, all these things kind of happen last minute. What do you think about coming? And you were like, tell me more. So give us a little background on that.
Yeah. Well, first the shows, or yeah, the shows. Okay. The thing is, I just made this, and I hope that someone would like to buy my pieces because when you start up, you never really know if someone's going to like your designs or not. But people did, and a lady from Vanity Fair contacted me in February last year. And she wondered if I would like to have my jewelry published in the paper and the magazine. And of course, I would like to have that. And at first, I thought it was a joke, like you have won something. But this was real. And after she published my Shepherd's Cross, then also Vogue, Elle, all those nice fashion magazines got in contact with me, wanted to publish my pieces.
Amazing.
And that's made a talent scout from New York contact me, asking me if I wanted to show on New York Fashion Show, and that's very rare for a Swede to be invited to do that.
Right.
So that's cool. And then I made also Paris Fashion Week, and on their show it's called The Ones to Watch. And yes, and then I was named like the star of the future of design in Vogue, British Vogue last number.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I never thought I would be. So I'm just, thanking God.
Right.
And then you asked me like a couple of weeks ago or something.
Right, yeah, it was a short time.
Yeah. If I wanted to come here, meet you all in Los Angeles and have a pop-up shop. And I was like, wow, this is an opportunity. I've been asking God for a way to get into the American market.
Right.
And this might be one. So I said, of course, I would like to come. So we came here, and I've been meeting a lot of lovely people. And it's been so fun watching all of you mingle around and talking. And I have been able to sell my pieces here too as well.
Oh, yay! Yeah, and then tomorrow you're going to be at the fashion show. But tell us what you're wearing. Tell us what you're wearing.
Well, a friend of mine, a red, nice dress for me.
Yes, shout out your friend, because isn't she a designer?
Sophia Corniskog Couture.
Yes, please. And then tell people where they can find you.
They can find me on Instagram, Sui Hoop Jewelry, or Facebook, Sui Hoop Jewelry.
And
of
Zoe.
course, yeah, Zoe, yeah. And I have also, of course, a web shop where you can buy my jewelry, and it's free shipping worldwide, so just purchase and I will send it to you.
Yes,
right away.
Please guys check Caroline's out. Thank you so much for being here and for trusting us. Like, we knew this was going to be a good event for you. Yeah. I'm just so happy that it is. So guys, this has been YNS Live with NFL Thread, sponsored by Shutterstock Editorial. Cannot thank you enough, MRN Agency. You guys have been amazing. And I keep looking at you, Pablo. I don't know why. It's because I'm supposed to be looking at this, and I'm looking at Pablo over here. Thank you, though. And also, YNS Live with NFL Thread. Cynthia is walking around somewhere, but we're going to wrap it up and say, don't forget to join us tomorrow at the fashion show.
Yeah.